Hello, everybody. We're here, back on the internet, and back here on the Bardicdice channel for our second night of our double duty D&D. Last night we were doing the On the Road to Netherdeep. We're getting through our player interviews before we start up our Call the Netherdeep. About to say Call the Critical Role. Call the Netherdeep campaign starting in July. So I'm super excited to get to know the players behind the characters this time. It's really fun. We will be starting here soon, first week of July, with a special Rivals one-shot. And I figured, why not use tonight to reveal who the players are going to be? Because they're all here.
Who?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. But super excited to say that our Fates babies are going to jump into the Critical Role world and get a chance to bring the Rivals NPCs alive for you in a intro one-shot before we actually get into the rest of Call the Netherdeep. So I'm super excited. I think it'll be really fun and to change it up a little bit as well. Though, who knows? Maybe some personalities will stay the same and some will change. I'm excited to see you guys getting a chance to play NPCs. So it'll be fun. And then if you are new, tonight is our Fates United, our homebrew game that we play on Thursdays, both 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you're not aware. And thank you, Nightbot. If you're new and haven't before, go ahead and give me a follow on the socials. We are keeping up with YouTube live on the VODs as well. So if you miss any of our stuff or want to check behind it, just check out our VODs live as well. And we also have a Discord that we share with our wonderful sister channel, Marquee Gaming, which you guys will hear about their amazing content here later. But we always have amazing shows throughout the week. We have Tuesday with Literary on DM, where we play Zelda-inspired games. We have Sunday with Beacon Zora. We got other streams going on. And so the Discord is a great place to just go hang out, check the other content, the other amazing content streamers produce there and post, and we talk about, and we all just have a great time to go when we're offline as well. So it's super fun. We also have a Fates United channel. So tonight, if you want to react and hang out in that channel in the Discord, to post gifs and reactions, make us laugh, respond to what our characters are responding to. It's a super fun time. So yeah, that being said, that's all the announcements I really got going on. But let's go ahead and jump into our player intros and the characters you're playing tonight, because sometimes we always forget that. So our official Wednesday artist, Keely.
There is the unmute.
There we
Hi,
go.
I'm Deely, aka Raphaziel. On a little break currently from streaming. Don't know when I'll be back officially, but I'm still doing art. And it's actually a good time for it because I'm doing all the art for Netherdeep, and nobody can see that until the game starts. So it actually is kind of a happy, overlap coincidence. But I'll be back again later. I like to post on Twitter mainly now. So check me out there. And then also in the tavern. So super fun time. On here though, I play Meikai, a tiefling monk, Kensei monk, and I love it so much. She's a lot of fun. She's very fast. I go fast. And yeah, I'm I'm super happy to be able to play her because she's a lot of fun. So
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely go check out her commissions are always open, and she's an amazing artist. That's why we keep on asking her to do amazing art for our channels, even when our players die and need new art the next week. So it's fun. That being said as well, we have our second artist on the channel. She is our official artist for our Thursday Fates United game. Rachie, want to introduce yourself and what you've got going on?
Hi.
I was like, oh, she's going full and eyes with this.
Yeah, it's a really big arm turn. Hi, I'm Rachel/Pip. I like to post my art on different social media platforms, so you can find me there. Twitter, again, it's Twitter and Twitch. I'll even type when I'm trying to like visit like the websites, I type the wrong thing. It's just the worst.
It happens.
Instagram and TikTok too, under Pip400art. I also like to stream art with Marquee in our channel, Marquee Gaming. So you can find me there on Mondays at 3:30 CST. I'm usually doing commissions or other random personal arts. So come hang out with me and talk with me. For this game, I am playing Anais. She is a elf, cleric ranger, and she does not speak, but since now we have some telepathy powers, some people could hear her mind voice a little more, so that's a good thing. The end.
Yep. All thought out when it originally was like, hey Mike, can we play a mute character who's also a spellcaster and make it work? It was like, we'll figure things out. I was like, telepathy powers, that's happening. Perfect. And heading on down to our second row, our one and only artist with his words and his emotions, John.
I feel like you're really trying to put me up on a pedestal there.
You're always on a pedestal, John.
I am John, also known as Deely's husband, and I play Kahurangi, the Kalishtar fighter, who's also kind of a wannabe philosopher and now leader of his people. Really enjoyed being able to kind of go through that arc, and I'm excited to see what happens to him next, because I have no idea what may happen next. It's part of the fun of D&D. Never knowing what's around the next corner. And if you're part of the tavern, or if you're not, you should join the tavern. Lots of great people there. Lots of great artwork. Lots of great projects you can see from time to time. I know I don't post a ton. Doesn't mean I don't look, because it is always enjoyable to see everybody's wonderful efforts and all the things that they do. And I'm glad to be able to enjoy the fruits of others' labor. Well, in the sense of enjoy the work that they've put forward. And with that, I will pass it on.
See, exactly. A poet with his words. And last but not least, our newest artist, our official artist that we're adapting into our streams as well. I'm going to make him the official artist of our Bardic Brews, because his designs come from his own mind and his own heart. Last but not least, Marquee of Marquee Gaming.
Hello everybody, I am Mark, and yes, Marquee Gaming is our channel, where we also do a Sunday D&D game that features Rachel and Mike both in it, which is, they're heading towards a confrontation, it seems, soon.
Oop.
So a big thing that has been waited and anticipated for since like early game, maybe coming up here, so pretty excited.
Something we've been trying to resolve since session 1, and we're on session 81.
Yeah.
So it's a good time. 80 sessions later, maybe it will happen. Who knows? So it could be interesting. We'll see what happens. Riskiness the players doing, but here I do play not Attic, which I almost said because that's in my head. It's Zachary, the ASMR sorcerer bard, and the youngest member of the crew, and the chosen of Solus, and the moody boy. So
Perfect. No, it's so excited to see what you guys have done with the characters. We're going into episode 62. So it's been a while, and it's so fun to see the growth and to see where we're going with this as well. That being said, thank you guys so much. I also want to give a quick thanks and shout out to all of you that watch this, whether it's live or through the VOD, whether you lurk and you just giving support. It just means a lot for everything you've done. This is our first little project and our baby, so it means a lot that you guys have been supporting us and pushing us through with everything. That being said, you guys ready to get into tonight's game? Tonight's game of Fates United.
Pull on threads of fate, strings of time, metal clash as they climb. Champions of the sky, sun, moon, ocean, ally. Seek the path where darkness hides, corrupting all the good inside. They will travel the hard way, igniting light through the untamed. Wilderness won't disguise the elements sent to destroy the fragile weave of destiny. Just one of the many evils sent to break the world. Protect them as legend unfolds. Pull on threads of fate, strings of time, metal clash as they climb. Champions of the sky, sun, moon, ocean ally. Seek the path where darkness hides. Bring light to where evil abides. Come on, roll the dice. As heroes take the fight.
Welcome back, everybody, for episode 62. One last stone. Our chosens. Being called upon and giving beads of power from the affinities. The godlike creatures that helped create the world and give magic to the races. Years later, and 4 new chosens have been awakened. Our camera pans around Organia. And so far, our chosens have made quite a difference and have already changed the course of history. As all throughout the human kingdoms, new leaders take over, new directions, new thoughts, and maybe even a chance to heal old wounds and scars in the Great Divide with the primordial races. On the primordial races, there have already been those in corruption and corrupted hearts, but nonetheless, who have been taken out of power and given inspiration to those people that maybe there is hope, that the affinities haven't abandoned them. However, always chasing them and always on the horizon is a darkened storm, literally and figuratively in some cases. Things that chase them are people that are missing in their lives. People that they want to get revenge on, or death that has happened in their history. Somewhere secret and isolated, there are those that are moving against them. Luckily, our chosens have been able to collect 9, or sorry, I was about to say 9 out of 10. Collect most, I don't know why, most of their stones. Yeah, I was like, well, I'm just adding some for some reason. Our chosens have been able to collect together these artifacts of the chosens. Pieces that are required to enact similar rituals that the Chosen One and the Affinities did to try and at least keep corruption, its form, its self, and the different affinities off of this mortal realm to give them a chance to fight on their own. They need one more, and now they are in an airship en route there. Did you guys want to start with the morning or continue with that night as well? I think we ended with the night of last episode, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything to do that night, or do you want to roll into the next morning?
So I'll just say how Zach's night ended, just because we talked about it off stream, but I'll pick it up.
So you do want to do
here.
something tonight?
I'll just explain that, I guess, because...
Perfect. The night sky's still out. You guys eventually leave the deck and head down to your rooms. Zachary?
So Zachary's activities at the end of the night is he returns to his room, locks the door, focuses in on kind of the intention for everything to go quiet around him, where he casts the spell Silence, extending it out. And then he takes probably a good 10-15 minutes and just kind of screams in his room in the silence
Oh, baby.
before collapsing on his bed and falling asleep. So I'd say.
How far was that silence going out? That you're extending it?
It's a 20-minute spell. Like that's
Oh, so they're extending the time. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, not the
I was like the whole ship. Be like,
radius. No, it's just in his room.
okay, cool. Yeah, you take as many minutes of that as it takes for Zachary to get out that stress and the emotion, anxiety. You fall asleep on the bed, fully clothed, your staff in hand next to you. As there's a small glow of orange energy still in the staff. Be warm all night. The night does go by. You guys are able to get to your night long rest. If anyone is making sure no one's staying up, right? You guys are taking the well-deserved rest after all this? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
After protecting Fusuaga, after helping and aiding in Radishan, and then departing with Kar, you guys have all of this in your mind as you slowly let it unwind. The airship has been speeding over the ocean currently, as you guys are taking the opposite direction. I know the map's flat but curved, so you guys are going south to go back north to Tritania. And the cold definitely hits. When the morning becomes to rise up on the horizon, little oranges and reds, the clouds do start coming in. And there's fog and mist, and it's actually hard to see all the time, and except with different pockets that open the water underneath. But when you do, you can see ice, little icebergs that catch through as you guys are going over the pole to Tritania. So you guys can all wake up, unless we want to do wake up rolls. It's up to you.
Wake up rolls!
The wake up rolls?
Fun.
Alright, go ahead and
Yeah.
roll me d20s.
8.
4.
2!
Wow, I went with a 9 and I won.
Jeez.
What?
So everyone, after being totally exhausted, including the captain who rolled a 2, after having to stay up waiting to know when you guys are taking off or not, as the second in command. And there's a skeleton crew. You guys know that there's not many on here. There's a chef, first mate, an engineer, and a captain. But they all kind of typically stay to themselves unless needed. They're known, they're kind of well taught to not interfere with politicians and keep and make sure that they're private in case whatever they're doing en route. The sun has already come up in the day and is beginning to rise in the morning. As Zachary, you wake up first after your emotional outburst. Well, inburst, silent burst.
Yes, very quiet.
You do not hear. You normally, by the time you're awake, you could hear at least Kahu out getting food or training. You can hear, you know, usually not Mekai, maybe Anais quietly walking about. But it's odd. You just hear the hum of the crystals as the airship is going to fly over.
So I will go out, see what food there is, and then probably go sit near the front of the ship, pull my scarf up, and look out over the landscape.
Right now there's mainly just like normal breakfast, like typical like porridge and oatmeals and like bread type stuff. The chef is up and starting to cook stuff if there's anything specific you want, but
Grab some fruits if they have any.
sure. Yeah, definitely.
Around.
He's got some barrels and choose from. You go out and it's the chill, and it's one of those chills that kind of very quickly gets under any of the outside clothes and kind of gets into you, and you have to just get used to. But going out to the front, you can feel the wind on your face a bit. And it's nice. You can see the sun coming up and cracking through the clouds in the front of you, and the entire horizon is just painted orange with the clouds. I think the next one was
Nice.
What'd you get? 6, I think. Whatever.
I
You
got
got.
8, I think.
8,
Yeah,
okay.
I think a second. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. You slowly open your eyes. Nothing in particular comes to awaken you or anything. You feel rested. And it's weird. For the first time, you guys just feel like a day. First time in quite a bit. There's nothing around and nothing really going on. You don't even feel any particular connection to the storm in particular besides just the clouds that are up here and being up in the sky.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
It's more
Okay.
of it's a peaceful connection versus like a storm connection, if that makes sense.
Like a stalker, like a storm stalker.
They just creeping
You know.
at you.
That's gone for the moment. That's nice. Okay. Actually, why haven't we called it a stalker before? I mean, that's a good name. Okay, anyway. So
Oh, you're talking about the shadow storm? I thought you were talking about your deity. I'm like, wow, you've never thought of him as a stalker before, but okay.
No, I'm talking about the storm that keeps following us.
The
and
stalker storm,
pestering us.
for sure.
He's a stalker, yeah, or I guess it's she. She's a stalker. Anyway, so I think I'm going to, yeah, I'll probably like kind of take my time this morning. I don't think I normally do that.
Yeah. You guys each
Yeah.
have rooms underneath, and then you would come up to the center area and then opens the door to the open deck, which then goes up to a third platform where the captain would be steering.
I think I'll even, so dumb, I think I'll even take the time to brush my puffy hair.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of times that it's just, there's too much going on. And it probably takes like 2 hours because their hair is long and it's really puffy.
Sure. Yeah, there's, you know, a little easy water system with some water barrels and the water crystals to take a shower and to get prepped in the morning, brush your hair and all that.
It's like, I'm probably out like doing stuff, but I'm just like working on it as I'm going.
Yeah, since you stayed on the inside of the ship, again, it seems pretty quiet. Yeah, I didn't really hear anybody really getting up quite yet. So, unless you go outside, that's when you would see that Zach's already up.
Okay, yeah, I think I'd sort of be waiting in my room and like waiting to see who else gets up.
Sure.
But like my door will be open.
Well, it's about that time that you hear Kahu's bed stir with some creaking of a, you know, the little larger body getting off the bed. Kahu, you wake up. When you wake up, it's peaceful. The first time you've woken up in years without a pang of guilt. Sun's kind of cracking through the window. Really nice. Minus, of course, anything else on your shoulders with Chosen's and anything else going on, but...
Small smile on his lips. He's gonna do some quick stretch and he's gonna go see if he can find Zach.
Perfect. Nice, give me a perception check.
16.
Okay. You do see Kahu, after he gets up and stretches real quick, opens the door and goes to look for Zach. Do anything?
Do I see a nice as I walk by?
My door's
I mean,
open.
his door's open if you wish to look in. She's brushing her hair.
You see
There's
Zach?
like the part that's brushed is like this puffy. Anyway, what?
Yeah, and right as you're walking by, you hear a as one of the little pegs in the brush breaks as she's trying to brush her hair.
You seen Zach and Ice?
No. Were you gonna talk to him?
I'm gonna go try to find him.
Zach, do you close your door after you leave your room, or would it be open, signaling you're not there?
I would close it.
I thought. Yeah, you look over and
Okay.
his door's still closed. We're not sure.
Maybe I'll go knock first. I gotta walk away. And before I fully turn around, I look back and I'm like, by the way, that looks nice in a different way. And
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
She just looks at it like just so puppy.
I think both work. I'm just.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna go see my sack.
Wait, are you planning on talking to him, or are you just checking?
I want to see if he wants to work out.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking maybe if we wanted to like talk to him.
Oh yeah, I've linked up with her now too.
We should all do it together.
I think
That's
that's a good
my
idea.
idea.
You should let Meikai know too. I didn't see her last night after we had talked.
I can tell him.
But yeah, I
We
figure
can
I'll
work
work
out.
out. If he wants to bring stuff up, we can bring stuff up. But
And if not, then I guess the three of us can
see what we can get out of it.
coax him. Coax him.
Tie him down until he talks.
Definitely.
Well, let me see if he's in his room. Otherwise, I'm gonna go search around the ship.
Okay.
Go knock on
Knock
the
on
door.
his door. Yeah.
Meikai, you get startled for a second. Knocks on your door, but knocks on the door next to yours. And you fell asleep with the rock on your cheek, so you get a little bit of imprint of a ring as you wake up now. It's like,
Done that before.
Kahu, no answer.
I feel like he's usually answered me before when I've knocked on his door. I'll go see if he's somewhere else in the ship.
So, nice, Meikai. Are you guys just kind of getting prepped in your rooms for now?
I'll wake up. Take forever to get up.
Of course.
She's not a morning person. It really worked out. She's a night person. She's not a yeah, I'll probably get changed. Write good morning, and then see if anybody else is up. See Ananias's door open.
You already see that there's a message from Car, who just says, "Good morning. Good luck on your travels. We've actually decided to make a stop by Celestia to meet with them there and trying to continue to open up trade and communication. Told you I wanted to hopefully continue to help you guys and make more allies. Enjoy your trip. Be safe. Go ready. Wifey." He puts a dagger at the end.
That's cute. Yeah, I'll just respond. Thanks. Good job. Oh my gosh. Good luck.
Fireball,
Hello.
fireball.
Say hello to Sasha. Love
Who?
you,
Just kidding. I'll say hi.
hubby. Heart. Heart. I'll go talk to Anais though when I see her brushing her hair. Can I help brush your hair, please?
You want to help me brush my hair?
I have some products to help it.
Wait, will it make it easier? Because
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna take me another hour.
Yeah, I can cut the time in half.
Yes.
My
3 months
mother used
later,
to have
finally
really long
figuring
hair.
out that you can get help.
My mom used to have really long hair like I did, but then she cut it short. There was not my fault. So, let me help you.
What?
There was an accident, and I may have accidentally gotten something stuck in her hair, and she had to cut it.
Oh.
cried for days after that.
Yeah, she was very upset with me, but honestly, it suits her even better now, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, let me help you. That was when I was like a little kid, so don't worry.
This wasn't last year.
No.
I'm just kidding. Oh, thank you. I would like the help.
I'm just kidding. Like that monologue.
It was right before we left. But yeah, I'll have this like little like homemade ceremony kind of stuff to like help like detangle. So, why I did want to have a conversation with Anais, but did
I'll come back to you
want
guys
to
because
talk?
yeah, I figured with all
Okay.
this it would take a little bit, and Kahu would already be up, probably checking the deck at
Yeah.
this point. So we'll bounce
Cool.
back to you guys. So you guys are taking your time to get prepped and do some hair stuff. Kahu, he's not in his room. You go up. There does seem to be some signs of someone has already eaten breakfast, and you can grab some quick stuff or ask the chef to make you stuff. Give me a
We'll
perception.
grab a quick thing and keep looking. And I get distracted because I rolled a 1.
Yeah, both the chef was talking about some great food ideas and mixtures that he can do. He wants some inspiration. You know, it's a little boring here, making the same thing every day. But then
I
he
was
also,
like trying to excuse himself,
Yeah.
but he like doesn't know how to do it nicely enough, so he like keeps sticking around. He's like, okay.
but you also notice the back door up to the captain's wheelhouse is open. That's what first takes your attention.
I'll eventually work my way that way when I can eventually extricate myself from the current conversation.
Sure, yeah, definitely. There's a human with tattoos. You've seen before and around, but you never really interacted with. Who's up there manning, and the it's like a half enclosed enclosure with the ship's wheel and a few different arcane rolls there. But he's up there, and it's not the captain. He seems a little tired, but he has like a newer warm drink, and just goes Kahurangi, right?
That's correct.
Drevin. I don't know if we've actually met before.
Yes. Put my hand out to shake it.
Nah, it's letting the captain rest a little bit longer. Because
Sorry about the late night.
Oh, don't worry about me. I do this all the time. Part of the job. Keep the captain happy. Makes it easier on the rest of the crew. Look, I know the captain's not the most forthright with his words. I think a lot of us are pretty proud to be assisting the Chosens. I think we've seen you guys in action. It's pretty cool.
I appreciate the help. You've definitely made it so that we can do more than I think we could have otherwise.
Of course. I raised my son. You always know that there's ways for all of us to help, not just Chosens.
There's definitely ways for everybody to lift.
Cool. Don't mean to bother you, but if you guys need anything, come to me. I can...
Yeah, I'm actually looking for Zach. Have you happened to seen him?
That guy? He kind of points out, he's like, Scarf Kid, right?
Follow his arm.
Like, yeah, pointing right to the front of the ship.
Oh my gosh, I think the slat in the window was completely blocking that shot for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the sun's up, kind of giving a bit of a glare. It's fine. It's all good. You can actually see some of like the around the windows, like the frost starting to hit like just the edges and stuff like that being of this part.
Do you need me to grab you a bite before I head out?
No, it's fine. Nah, I just ate. Got some
Okay.
coffee here. Appreciate it. Usually there's not much over the pole here. You guys aren't expecting any danger here, right?
As far as I know.
Making sure.
There is. Let's see what we can do for you.
Don't worry. We trust you.
I'm gonna head out towards Zach.
All right, cool. Make your way up. Kind of, you can use the enclosure here, up here, kind of walk out or to the sides of the ship and make your way up to the front without having to go all the way back in. Is that kind of holding up with a scarf, looking forward?
One thing, Zach does not look cold. I'll say that.
Perfect.
Kyle will walk up, probably arms folded because he didn't wear a proper coat on his way out. He's like, Zach, do you want to... Curious if you might want to work out again this morning. I know it's not going to be a run, but there's some rigging we can probably make use of, and probably do some back and forth sprints over there if you're up for it. I mean, it's always nice to have somebody to work out with.
Maybe. I guess for a little bit.
Alright. Did you already get something to eat? Do I need to grab you something? It's usually good to have something in your belly. Alright. Well, I think we'll probably start with some stretches and then some sprints if you're up for it.
Are you cold?
I was slightly, yeah. That's kind of why I'm wanting to rush into getting started to exercise. It helps warm me up a little bit.
Here, take off your outer layer. And I'll take his coat and I'll fold it all up. I'll put my hands on it and cast prestidigitation to warm it for 1 hour and hand it back to him.
Nice.
I'll put it back on. That's pleasant.
Yeah, it helps with the cold. It's a trick we learned in Celestia for cold days.
That's a clever trick. I like that one. Thank you, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Should also help me not get cramps either when we're exercising in the cold.
Probably will help.
Alright.
So,
You guys
Start
doing some
exercise.
exercises?
Yep.
Give me athletic checks.
Zach is far less enthusiastic about strength-based things. But I got that 20, so 23.
Nice. 30.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't really care about this, but
It's whatever. Ship heading that way or that way.
you can just hear Sasha squeal.
I think it might even be a little bit of like yoga exercising too. Like-
Just like the stretches and
I think Kahu's aware enough that he knows Zach doesn't love the weight based, so he's trying to do more like the wind sprints, the yogas, there might be like some climb, like a little bit of climbing stuff, but like I think he's trying to keep it more hit drills, less heavyweight type stuff.
Yeah, the two of you can now hear footsteps on the floor above you as some wind sprints are getting hit, and you guys are actually able to keep up pretty well. Kahu about 3/4 of the way through, so you guys are starting to hit a little bit of a sweat, and you kind of feel your muscles starting to loosen up. And whether it's through Zachary keeping himself warm the whole time, and now the cold's starting to set in again for you, or just maybe he's better at, you found like the right kind of repeat exercises that Zachary's just really good at. He tends to be slightly more limber than you, and is now able to keep up just a little bit more and not really breaking as much of a sweat. So he kind of just surprises you, not in like a competitive way, but just like a he has a kind of a more secret athletic than just like that strength build sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The endurance side. Perfect. We'll jump down to the other two while you guys are finishing up your exercises.
Hi.
Halfway through.
It's like a
Do
bad
it.
to you. What?
I was
Sorry.
just joking that you guys are like quietly, like you put some product in, you just go back to brushing, and then, hi.
30 minutes
Oh, no,
in.
Maykai doesn't say that. You said we're back to the other two, so that was my response. I'm
Back
here.
to you, Meikai. Yeah, you said you wanted to talk to her. So.
Yeah. So, as I'm brushing, how are the elves? I mean, I can't speak Elvish, so that entire time I was kind of lost, but they seem to be good.
I mean, I think they're recovering. I'm glad they have I'm glad they have a place for that. They seem willing to work with the others too. So that's a change.
Yeah. I'm really glad for that. I hope that people can just, come closer together. I feel like everybody's just divided needlessly. That's another hard word. Needlessly. So, yeah. I'm glad that they're doing better, though.
Yeah, I think Connor's gonna work on some leads. What to do next, whenever we're able to do it.
Yeah.
So that's
Do you think Connor's... Huh?
nothing. What?
Oh, do you think Connor's going to want to see his father?
I think he wants Lyda's dead first.
That's fair.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him. I would probably feel the same way. Who knows
Think
what
so.
we'll have to do to get it done, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm still all for taking them all out. I think seeing their hideout and fighting all of those under the curse, then it's just sad. And it just makes me want to free the others and whatever situation your family's spirits are in. I mean, it just honestly makes me mad more than anything.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your help on it. I wish we could get it done now, but I don't think we know enough.
Yeah. Well, we have lots of allies in lots of places now. And I think making sure that we use those connections and resources, maybe they'll find something, maybe not, but
Yeah.
keep checking in with those we know.
So, was the engage thing, did you expect that, or?
No, but also, I don't know how Elvish customs are. I know humans tend to take a while, and they do give rings, which, don't get me wrong, it's very, very pretty and I love it and I'm never taking it off. But it's not the tiefling thing way. So it did catch me a little off guard. But our engagements tend to be arranged marriages, or you fancy someone a lot, and then after dating for a month, then you decide to get married. So it's a short thing. So I'm not really surprised, but I'm glad for it. I'm excited, but I'm even more worried about him doing stupid things now.
That makes sense. Well, it makes sense, I guess. I was thinking about it more. I didn't mean to seem like I wasn't excited about it. I was just shocked, I guess, that it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. He said he was talking about how death changes a person and kind of makes you appreciate things, which I thought was really sweet and sad. But you know.
Yeah, makes sense. So, yeah, I wanted to say I am happy for you. I just didn't. It was a shock, I guess. That's
Yeah.
like the last thing on my radar is, you know, someone getting married. I forgot that kind of exists, you know, when you're focused on other things.
I mean, it was kind of a little bit on my radar too, but like not for like a while. You know, I thought that maybe we would be going through and doing all our shows and stuff, and maybe in like 6 months down the line. I mean, I was fully expecting him to at some point, but you know.
Yeah.
But it's fun. But I am focusing on our responsibilities first. So don't think I'm going to slack, because I'm not.
I wouldn't think that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about it. I was gonna say though, Kahu mentioned something to me, and I'm gonna talk to you about it in his place. But we've all been kind of brainstorming. I don't think Kahu was kind of noticing that Zach seemed off, and I kind of wondered if he was, but every time I was around him, he acted like he was fine. So I dismissed it, but if I was feeling something and then Kahu saw something too, we're just worried that he's putting on more of a brave face than anything.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking maybe the three of us should talk to him and see if we can get him to open up somehow. Or at least let us know what's going on with him.
By that little iron door open a touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's smarter. I feel like every time I talk to him, it goes nowhere, and then I end up leaving awkwardly, so.
Oh, I've watched that happen, yeah.
Yeah.
You seem to get like really nervous.
He intimidates me. I feel like almost like he's younger than me, but it's almost like getting in trouble with like an older sibling, you know, or like a parent, and you're just like, oh, all right, yeah. But that's because I respect him, and I know he's very capable. And it's not that I think he would hurt me. It's more like, well, not physically, but like emotionally, you know, like with his words. It's very intense, but I think, you know, it's a good tool. I'm just afraid of like, you know.
Yeah.
Disappointing him, I guess.
Mekai, as you're talking to Anais, you feel a ping of a message spell heading towards you. Are you accepting it?
Yes.
Ignore.
Later.
No.
You hear a familiar, though it's been a while, voice. A breathy, monotone, pointed fire genasi.
Oh no.
Mekai, it's been a while since we have heard from you and the others. I am merely relaying a message and checking in on you all to see how the mission to get the stones are, and curious where your travels are taking.
Hi. We're doing pretty good. We are going to get the last stone, so everything's pretty under control. We are en route to Tritania to say hello to Carlos. Mental thumbs up. I don't know if that works, but
Emoji.
yeah.
You get a second, almost like a second casting of it come back to you. And just a small sigh in response to thumbs up. We would be happy to meet you all when you've accomplished your mission. Or if you need any aid from us. As well as I have heard no correspondence from Hanasuka. Just wanted to inform you as well that the king has not reached out to me for some time either. In case that isn't any concern to you.
Do I feel like I can respond back?
I mean, you can if you wish.
Okay. Yeah. Where do we meet? But yeah, we have Hanasuka on our radar as well. It's not good there. There seems to be some time warpy spell. And people keep disappearing. But it is on a to-do list, short list.
No response.
Okay. I'll let Anais know. With the messages and stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know where they want to meet us. Was that Iscarius?
Yeah.
Was that his name? Okay,
Scarius
yeah.
Gihorn.
Yeah.
He is the Snape character.
Who would make I also annoyed quite heavily.
Very much so.
But yeah, I think that's a good idea, talking to Zachary. Did we want to do that now? I think sooner rather than later.
I think sooner rather than later. Because then if we fail today, we still have tomorrow. You know?
That is true.
So...
Did you want me to braid your hair?
I don't really mind. Whatever. Will it... Well... Yeah, I guess then it wouldn't blow on my face on the ship today, huh?
Yep.
I guess. If you want.
Big ol' like Rapunzel braid.
Perfect. So you guys finish up this conversation. Kaho, Zach, anything before they come and find you guys wish to talk about, or is you just still working out? Want to give you a chance to have a one-on-one in case.
I think if we're done working out, if they're not there quite yet, Kyle just Zach, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this much earlier, but I want to at least bring it up that I'm sorry for what happened with Anir. I thought I had grown a repertoire with him and felt he was somebody I could trust a little more fully than that. I don't like what happened. I know you were frustrated by it, and I was very frustrated about it myself. felt like somebody I had put faith in had taken advantage of my faith in them. And I'm sorry that... I guess what I'm sorry for is I feel like you had faith in me. That was the reason why you were willing to go along with him. Sorry I didn't see that one.
Not your fault. We were told people are gonna try to use us, so.
I just try to have hope that they won't, though, you know?
I mean, I question how many good people there really are in this world. But
I think it's a fair question. I hope that there's more than there are others.
yeah, well, it kind of feels like the bad guys get the top spots and everyone else just kind of trickles down into nothingness
Yeah.
in a lot of places. I guess you're chief now, so you seem alright.
I will do my utmost to keep an alright rating in your book. I appreciate you being there. I'm glad we were able to help Anais as well, and I'm glad we were also able to get the stone, but you still stood by my side. And I do appreciate that. It didn't go unnoticed by me.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sorry I couldn't save that shaman, the title. She seemed important to you.
Okay. We can't control everything as much as we want to, as much as I wish I could. Can't dictate the nature of how to solve problems always. At least that's how I feel. Sorry I resorted to violence with my sister there at the end. I was trying to think what was the quickest way and the most sure way to try to bring my family back together. And I knew that that was something. I mean, I did my best to speak it out, but it's a part of me that's still lacking. Still trying to figure that one out, how to do that better. But I could tell she wanted a way out. And I think she went that route because she knew that in the eyes of the people she loved, it'd be a way for her to pass the burden in the most honorable way she knew.
So she didn't even want it, but she divided your whole tribe to make appearances look like she wanted it.
I think she felt that she was required to do it.
I see.
I think she didn't have faith in me because of how I had acted in the past, how I had failed in the past. I think if we didn't save my brother, she wouldn't have even gotten that far. And you were instrumental in saving my brother. I never thought I'd actually get to talk to him again.
It's a good thing we got there when we did.
It's a good thing I have you and Denise and Mekai. So thank you. We would have been late if we never got this airship. From your words, moving the people, I think I would have maybe resorted to violence myself much sooner if I didn't watch you change the direction of the world in a single moment. It's amazing to me to see how powerful sharing your ideas can be, persuading them to come along with you. I like it much better than war.
Hopefully we can do more of it.
I'd love to learn more of how to do that.
About this time, you guys see Anais and Mekai walking up. I need Constitution saving throws from the two of you. Mekai and nice. Who cares?
Oh,
Wait,
Yeah.
you scares us here?
oh, because it's so cold. Make high.
Boom! Teleportation, orange portals. Let's go. It's happening right
Hey!
now. Run and smite people.
A woman that sent us what's up. Okay, anyway, so at 18.
Wow. 18 and what?
8.
It seems that you have focused a little bit more on Anais' hair, and Anais, your hair seems to do just fine. Mekai, you seem to have some still wet product in your hair that froze a little bit in certain areas, so you have some frozen hair art as it's hardened in the cold air whipping past your face when you're up here.
I'm gonna go run back to my room really quick and grab a cloak and then a scarf and then be back and warm.
Cool.
Just really quick. Okay.
I mean, with your movement, you'd probably catch up by the time Anais even gets anywhere up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of look back and like she comes back. Okay.
Cool.
I think as we're like, oh wait, yeah, do we see them upstairs?
Yeah, I
On
guess
the
you guys
deck,
are
okay.
like what, like kind of sitting, doing your like post stretches sort of thing.
Yeah.
On the upper deck.
I kind
I
of feel
think-
like during the talk we probably finished the stretches. I imagine we're kind of just like
Leaning.
staring off into the clouds as I was talking to him, was my thought.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As we go up, since I can connect to people on my own now, I just connect to Kahu and I say, I talked to Mekai, we're a go.
Well, I think we got a good workout, so maybe hopefully he's able to
He's
listen.
too tired to fight.
She's too tired to run away. Do we want to sit out here or?
I mean, we can. He has an amazing thing that he can do where he can make your clothes warm. It feels very nice, actually.
Oh.
It's like your core's all nice and warm, and your face still gets that nice little chill. It's a nice sensation.
Oh. Okay.
You should see if
I'm
you
gonna
can
try to
do it
make
for
it look natural. Did I ask for this? As I like, walk up to everybody.
you. Just act like you're slightly chilly. You'll be fine. He'll notice.
Mekai actually still looks cold.
I like wave to Zach and Kahu because I didn't talk to Kahu. I just walked up to the two.
Give
Good
me a deception check.
morning.
I'll wave to him.
I know, she's so bad at it.
I'm just joking. You're good.
Oh, really? Okay.
Up to you.
I was gonna roll. But...
Sure, go ahead. Give me your deception check. We'll just see how awkwardly you walk up or not.
How much
Hey,
Zach noticed the stairs?
I got a 15!
15, not bad. What's your passive insight? That
12. She's fine.
okay. Yeah.
Yes! Now who's sneaky? It's me!
So sneaky.
Mine's a 17. I'm like, that was pretty good.
I was gonna say, yeah, May Cat.
Yeah, roll an awkward.
17.
That's what that was. Yeah.
How are you boys doing?
Fine. You look cool. Give me your coats.
I like.
I'll be
the way
more.
they're talking about it.
Just make I just trust him.
Give me your coat.
Okay.
It's actually quite nice.
And then just fold it up. Prestidigitation on Make Eyes first because she looks colder. Give her back. And then same thing for an Isis coat.
It's so warm. You used that spell. They did this in the palace all the time in the winter. It's so nice.
It's very nice.
It was
Smart
wonderful.
idea.
Thank you. So, what were you guys doing up here?
Ooh, we were
Just hanging out? Oh,
Did you not?
that's nice.
Oh, maybe the deck's really quiet underneath us. That's actually good to know.
Yeah, I can't hear anything down there.
But our jumping wasn't too bad.
You totally heard stuff.
Yeah.
down there.
If
I was also
possible,
talking
too,
pretty.
I'm going to see if my staff can kind of warm us in the general vicinity as well.
Okay. Give me an affinity check.
He goes soulless for days. But
Right?
Make me warm though.
Affinity check will be a 21.
Very easily. That glow that was still with you this whole time glows brighter, and within a 20-foot radius, you guys get the effects of the prestidigitation ongoing as a concentration spell until you end it.
Oh, thanks, Solus.
Zach was going to be cold because I can only do 3 prestidigitations at a time.
Oh.
Oh, B.
But
You
yeah,
can? I didn't know. Oh, you're right. There's a limit.
That's multiple
I forgot
times. You
about
can up to 3 at a time.
that. You're right.
Zachary, you feel like Solus still hasn't left you. Doesn't seem
Better not leave me.
right. Yeah. Doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like she's been trying to like poke at you this whole time, but it still just seems like that warm little presence is stuck with you.
So, I like look around and see if anyone's gonna start. And I like, and yeah. So if anyone goes before as she's looking around, then tell me. If not, I'll say something. But
No, go ahead.
Did everybody sleep good? Just gonna lead with that.
Makai can't do silence. Yeah.
I was just kind of slowly turn his head and look at her. Like,
What? What?
should we start talking about the weather next?
Yeah, it's pretty cold. Thank you, Zachary, for doing this.
It's got invisible.
You cannot see me, but I am here, much like your affinity.
Congratulations again, by the way, on the engagement.
Thanks.
I feel
we don't
even
have
more
to-
worried. I feel even more worried now for the poor people you fight that get your infamous backslap there. That's even worse.
You're right. I have to tell him that it's also a weapon.
You brand people.
wait, a ring imprint on the cheek.
Oof.
Anyways,
Ouch.
but this
Punched by someone.
is not about me. This is not about me. Thank you though. Hey, Zachary, I think we all just wanted to check in with you. And see how you're doing.
With what?
everything. I was just asking
Zach,
Anais how she was doing.
I think what she's asking is I've noticed that you put on you're very good at hiding your emotions. But the other night I noticed you seem to be carrying a lot more. I wanted to see if you'd be willing to share some of that burden.
I mean, aren't we all carrying burdens, though?
We are.
Yeah. But I feel like we've all kind of expressed them or talked about them or at least relieved a little bit of the pressure.
I mean, you've taken all of ours, so
Mm.
it's only fair it's an equal exchange, don't you think?
We do care about you.
I know you guys do. So you know basically what's going on, right?
You're
I have
very...
no idea.
Yeah.
I think I understand that your family is important to you, but you're weighing it against... I don't know if maybe you're weighing it... I think the family's important to you, and I think you also feel that the stones are extremely important.
Yeah, we gotta get that last stone still.
Mm-hmm. And we're on our way to go get it. But there's literally nothing else that we can do at the moment, so I think this is like a good time to just kind of like unwind and like reassess what we're all doing. And like what the main goals are.
Well, how you are. I mean, we know what we have
Yeah.
to do, but how are you?
I mean, you guys all feel stressed, right?
I do feel stressed, and I was keeping myself bottled up quite a bit, and Anais actually came and was willing to talk to me about it. It honestly helped quite a lot more than I thought it would.
I mean, we just have a lot of responsibility on us. So, it's a lot.
I think we have too much responsibility on us, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we share with others. We can at least start by sharing with each other.
I mean, like, if we fail, then what?
Is it the pressure of what we have to do that's getting to you, or is it your family? A combination?
We need to get these stones so we can do some ritual. See if that works. But like, we don't even know if the stone's with Carlos or anything. Just supposedly think it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's our best lead on where this one is. I don't know where else it would be.
Well, yeah, that's why we're going there.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we don't even know that. What if it's not there?
Then we'll find more clues and try to figure out that. Ask the affinities.
Yeah, but we got like a month to do it, right? Less than a month. So what if we don't do it in time?
Then we'll try again next year. And get stronger in the meantime.
How can you say that just so simply though? Like, there's a storm that's killing people, following us everywhere we go. It's not just, oh, we'll do it next year. Like, people's lives are on the line right now.
Yes. But, you know, it's not easy to say that. but I also can't just keep dwelling in the negativity, and I'm not making light of it, but I'm trying to think on the more positive side of it. That's all.
Sorry for being so negative then.
No, it's
I would rather you share with us your actual feelings, Zach, than try to paint a
Yeah.
different picture.
I'm
I
not
think
telling
she's
you
just-
to be positive about it.
Yeah, I think she was just explaining why she could say it that way. I don't think she was telling you that you were wrong for feeling that way, Zach. I mean, I hate it too. I hate that we can't even stay for a day or two without endangering people.
I didn't like the fact that I felt like I was about to kill my village.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the storm took out cities that are not even close to where we were. Nearly. Like Radishan almost got destroyed, and Celestia got hit, and it's just like a region now is getting hit by the storm. You can't put this off for another year. This has to get done.
I agree.
I think we all agree with that. I think
So-
if something happens and we don't get it done within that month, then we need to be making another plan, but I think our first plan is to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the pressure of that that's getting to you so much?
I mean, are we even sure we can stop corruption?
Everything is pretty vague. Is that what you mean?
We don't know what the ritual is. We have Sundavir, who knows if we can even trust him, or if he's just lying to us again. The dean doesn't even want to talk to us. Like, I sit on a hill all day waiting for him to show up, and he doesn't even come.
It does. Did you say the dean is kind of acting like we don't know what we're doing or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sundavir doesn't seem to have the highest expectations for us. But, and I know that he was saying that there was that, like, it's not me stalking your dreams and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like when the last time that we talked, I feel like he was being sincere, for whatever that's worth. At least this version of him.
Still don't trust him.
That's fair.
I think that's fair.
But what I do trust is that our group is trying to do the best that we can. And I trust each one of you. I trust, even though they're rather vague sometimes, I trust my affinity. So, I don't know if any of you do, but I trust in that. We're clearly becoming more powerful as we go.
So when I talk to my affinity, it's usually very simple words that he'll give me. But I mean, doesn't Solus talk to you, Zach? Has she said anything that's helped?
It's just more of, need you, you gotta do all this stuff. So,
Piling on the burden.
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, does that feel like that's what she's doing?
Yeah. It's like, I know I got stuff to do. I don't need to be reminded about it all the time.
I think it's in the kind of similar way when your parents like keep telling you the same thing and you're like, oh my gosh, I know. They just like want to like really drive it home and you just really want to, run from home kind of thing. I think it's meant well, just not executed maybe properly.
Yeah, these are supposed to be what the gods that everyone worships. So great.
It is interesting, isn't it? How their influence seems to be not what I would have expected, at least.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely beings of power, but they seem held back.
Yeah. I don't want to be the only person can be given power from Solus.
That's fair.
When corruption can literally be all across the land, all at once.
I've asked myself a lot why I was chosen, but clearly it was for a reason. We all were. But maybe the reason that they can't spread their power so much is that might be even more dangerous, or people just might have a little bit, if we're getting that 100% and they spread that 100% over 5 people, I mean, 20% power? That's not a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic, isn't it?
It could be that, or it just could be the fact that maybe they're not all powerful and all knowing.
And it's been how long since the Chosens have been around? I mean, being that long, I feel like maybe each Chosen, we just get less and less powerful, but we still have enough power.
Well, I think his point, though, is that we're the only ones. Like, it's not like there's anyone else to help us with this. It's just us.
Yeah.
It's all on us.
Okay. We have a lot of people willing to help us, though, and back us up, like Kahu's family. Kar and his guards came.
The
elves
know
help.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that, though, because they're so defenseless compared to us. Like, what if we weren't on that beach in Fusuaga? What happens then?
Well, the storm probably wouldn't have gone there then, but...
What
Well,
if we teleported away, like in Venali?
Mm-hmm.
What happens to everyone there? Who can stand? You saw what happened with those just scorpions that were corrupted in that elf camp, killing everybody. I don't want to be the only one who has power in this world.
It's fair.
Do you think... I don't know, I guess I've never really thought about it, but... Do you think that's something that can be helped?
Let's figure it out.
Maybe after this ritual, we can look into doing something like that. Trying to figure out if there's any clues, or I don't know, trying to talk with the affinities or something about that.
Yeah, I think we need to go to the desert area and go to the Temple of an Ancient One there.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me again what that's supposed to be or do. What's that have to do with anything?
Well, if I remember right, it's where Leetta and all of them went and had their mind changed. And that's where the first chosen, that dwarf, told me to go. And there was something else I'm forgetting right now, but it was supposedly there.
Zach's checks his Excel spreadsheet.
Let me take a look.
One moment, please.
Been a long time since that session when I heard that. But I think it's sort of like the volcano ruins. So I think you can shed some light.
Except this time, Kahu, don't touch stuff and then disappear the entire time.
I think I needed to help open a door.
You did, but...
Did you guys find anything on that other side? I think you mentioned a couple of things.
Yes.
That was where we found one of the first stones.
And money. Dwarven coins.
That was when you opened the door that my dad couldn't. So artifacts, things like that.
When I
And that goblin guy.
saw Virtus.
Yes.
Also saw robots.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know, Zach. I don't know if that helps you at all. If we kind of all keep an eye out for something like that.
I think what Zach has, though, is a very noble goal.
I am all for trying to spread the out around and not have so much on our plates, so we can actually take time to do other stuff as well.
Well, I think it is right for people to be able to have the ability to protect themselves.
I think it's dangerous when only a few people have power.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what the
Especially
king did.
some of the people that have power, but they didn't really do anything with it. It's like the dean had so much power he could help with, and I think he just sat there on it. Right?
I think he was trying to do his own way of helping the world. But
Yeah, no, I'm not necessarily saying he's like a bad person, but just one more thing, I guess. I don't know.
You
I mean,
may
you look at Soonvir.
be trying to say that one person has all the power and they make a choice. If it's not the right choice, it hinders everybody. It's hard for one person to always make the right choice at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Dropped a rock.
The whole airship explodes. Fireball.
Oh no.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
so we gotta get all this stuff done by the end of the month, so we can stop this storm.
Yeah.
We don't even know if what we're doing is the right thing, or we're being tricked by Soondavir, or if we're going to be able to acquire all the stones, or the storm just kills us.
Well, I may have a lead on something that could maybe help us with Sindavir.
What's that?
Last night when I was sitting under the stars, Well, when we were sitting under the stars, actually, Anais, and I was looking up, I felt a draw and a pull. The final farewell as you from Amaya.
Hmm.
And then I felt a moment of darkness. Unbound, but lost. I think it's somewhere in the other realm.
The dream one?
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual affinity?
Like Drogos?
I think so, yes. Part that was lost.
Ooh.
I don't know if it'll do anything, but maybe.
That actually might change a lot of things if they've been without it each time.
Maybe it might make Sundavir whole. Maybe it might do
Yeah.
something else, who knows? It'll probably make its own choice at that point, but. It's a lost puzzle piece. I don't have much, but I have a scent.
Mm-hmm.
If we think it's worth chasing, I'd like to find a way to bring us all there.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth checking out.
Again, doesn't by any means solve all of our problems, but it's at least another puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Zach, does your...
Bingo.
Sorry.
No, go nice.
I mean, were we both gonna change the subject slightly?
I think so. You go though.
Well, I was just gonna ask Zach, have you heard from your family? I mean, I haven't heard anything about that in a long time. You don't talk about it. Does that factor into anything?
I think all that's left is my two sisters you met, my two brothers you met, and me.
Your father.
Okay.
Sorry, just put that out there.
I thought you said the last time Sasha had said my whole family's gone, so I thought that included my father. But
Your
if it
father's
doesn't-
in prison.
Oh yeah, he went to prison. That's what it was.
I knew he did. That's why I thought he was gone though from prison, like which is a weird thing.
No.
Okay. Well then, my dad is around too in prison still. So
Wait, all of them?
yeah, they're all gone.
When did that happen?
I learned about it a few days ago.
Why didn't you say anything?
Because we were fighting Lytus and trying to bring Kaku's family back together. I don't need to burden you with this. It's not like we can do anything right now anyways, so...
I got. What are you got?
I was just gonna say it wouldn't have been a burden.
No. Also, Zach, I was telling you, I had a dream with Lune telling me to help you get to Hanasuka for your family. I said it very awkwardly, but I mean, that's my fault, but like, there's something there. And it's not just for me, it's not just for you, but the impression was that she can't really see into it, but she knows that there's some family there, at least something to help both of our situations, and that we're supposed to work together on it.
Yeah, we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. I mean, the ritual site is like right there. In my region, anyways, so I mean, two birds, one stone. Is that the expression? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go there before the ritual, though.
Why?
But what if we have some more time? What if we get this like done super quick?
Because we don't know what's going on in there.
Right.
Right. So
You're
why
worried
would we
about
go
us.
there?
You're worried about us getting stuck for longer than missing the ritual.
Yes.
That's fair. But
I mean, if no one
What
comes
if-
out of it, who's to say we can get it done before the ritual time?
that's fair.
Well, you did say we're the most powerful people, so there's something to
Or
think about.
we can be the smartest people and just not go there until after we did the job that we've been working on since we left the Centaurium.
We do still have to bring the dean and Sundavir back together as well.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you're okay with waiting, though? That's a long time.
I mean, according to
Okay.
Sundavir, if he's so trustworthy, we can't even do anything now. To wait until the stars align or something like that. So,
With Hanasuka?
with getting my family back.
When did he say that? I didn't hear anything about that.
When he showed up and tried to make me give him his corruption powers, or give him so he could have my powers. When we were all together, the cabin.
What did he say, though? I don't understand.
You don't remember him taunting me, saying like, "Time's ticking, time's low. I'm gonna leave. You gotta give me your powers." You don't remember that?
Well, I remember
Yeah.
that, but wasn't he saying that, like, he could rescue one of your family or something? Wasn't it your brother?
Yeah, and then the morning came. It was too late. So
Maybe not out of Hanasuka, then, I guess.
and it couldn't be done for a long time, is what he said.
A long time could be any amount of time.
Yeah, that's very vague.
Curious.
I mean, they're really good.
Yeah.
You think it could be the same situation as Anias' family?
I don't know.
I hope.
But I mean, we have to get these stones done. We have to make sure we get the ritual done. I mean, I think we should go to that temple. And if we can, I think we should try to stop Lytus, because they suck.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree with that.
But I don't think it's smart to go to Hanasuka until we at least have the stone stuff done.
Is it worth us going to Celestia at all?
No, there's nothing there.
I mean, your dad's there. Maybe he has insight.
He's in prison.
Mm-hmm.
He's crazy. So,
He's crazy?
yeah, I tried messaging him. He can't even put a sentence together.
Oh. Do you think he's under some sort of spell?
Was he? Yeah.
What?
Does he have a spell on him?
Not
And I asked
just-
kind of around the same lines, like, has he ever been like that? Like,
No. I think it's everything that's happening getting to him.
Hmm.
What has been happening?
A little over a year ago, all of a sudden, we started to notice that some of our ancestors who had died, their bodies started going missing. And they were just gone from their where they were entombed. No one knew what happened. We had investigations happen, trying to figure it out. No one could find anything. But one by one, more and more disappeared. Until one day, my great-grandfather disappeared, who was very much alive. He grips his staff a little tighter.
Oh.
And after that, more and more of my family, like, they never even existed, disappeared. We had guards set up around houses. We had just people gone. They went to bed and poof. No evidence of anything happening. No one figured out what was going on. We hired the best investigators we could. People tried to search. Nothing. So then, basically a year ago now, that's when my family sent away all the kids, trying to keep them safe because kids started going missing. And here we are today. 6 people left.
So
Even
sorry.
my baby brother is gone. So,
I'm gonna try to reach out to Sindavir, just singly at the moment.
Affinity check. With advantage.
He's sleeping in.
26.
Feel the connection.
Sindavir, you there?
Horse friend.
You have eyes everywhere, don't you?
Not quite.
No, in the shadows at least.
When I want to.
Do you truly have any idea what's happening with Zach's family?
I saw who tried to take them, but so did you.
You saw who tried to take them.
Remember in your time in Venali? On the roof. Looked like Makai. Yet they were made of webbing. Undead. Puppeteers of someone.
Sindavir says that the people that were after Zach's family are similar to those in Venali, the puppeteers of the undead.
Oh.
They were there
Is he-
looking for his family.
That was the reason they were there in Venali. To look for his family.
Pride helping you all. Pride being able to pinpoint where they were before they got to Onasuka. But then they disappeared from, like you said, my eyes in the shadows. I really like that, actually. We use that.
You're welcome. He also just mentioned that he was able to follow them until they hit Onasuka. And he says that the wall of shadow blocked his own eyes.
There's some shady stuff going on there.
By the way, I wanted to add that as like after, because I know like he was talking to Sundavir like for a second, but like when Zachary kind of like finished his whole thing, I don't know how he would take it, but I feel like Anais would just scoot closer to Zach and like put her head on his shoulder, like,
No.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
If you seem to not like it, she'd go away, but...
No, I think he'd actually lean into you a little bit.
Aww.
Oh, see
Maykai
Zach.
watches, but she's very jealous.
If Kahu gently puts his hand on Zach's shoulder, will Zach look at it bewilderedly, or will he let it happen?
We all know
The slow group hug forming.
Yeah, you know what? Maykai will scoot closer too.
I know Zach doesn't want a full-on hug from Kahu, but I'm like, maybe he'll let me just do a little, like, bro shoulder grip.
Yeah, I mean, he won't react to that.
Okay.
Maykai just gets closer. Doesn't touch you, but just gets closer.
It's like a death glare look at me.
Yeah. Get.
Shoot!
She puts the not ringed hand on his shoulder.
I think she just...
Zenithia, are you okay if I bring you into this?
Yeah, are we
I'll
consoling
ask-
someone right now? I feel a very consoling emotion
I'll-
emanating from you.
I'll ask Zach if he... No, I won't bring Zenithia in yet. First, Zach, I do have Zenithia in the mind.
On the line.
Hold. Please hold. He can hum.
You
Music.
dropped me
Try
when you were
asking-
trying to transfer. Jeez, learn how to use the phone.
Do you want to try to talk? Do you want him... Do you have questions for him, or do you want me just to keep him out of the general conversation here?
Don't know what else you could tell me right now.
Thank you for that information. If you have anything else, can you please let us know?
Sure. I do believe at some point Hanazuka will have to be dealt with. It is where one of the preferred ritual sites was when we did it. Otherwise, you'll have to find a ley line. There are
Interesting.
others, but where we did it, the original one.
I'll let Zach know.
Cool.
Thank you.
Didn't say thank
I
you
think
back.
as like they're talking, I would say to Zach, like, you could have told us. You can tell us. I don't think any of us want you to be alone. You didn't let me be alone. I don't want you to be.
Nice is good at that, not letting us be alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's my job.
Kind of smile towards an eyes as I say that.
I didn't want you to be distracted from what we were doing.
Please don't ever feel like you're a distraction. Also, for what it's worth, maybe a grain of salt, but soon to be before we parted mind ways. I don't know how we say that.
Mind ways.
We, I guess once we decide to mind our own business, I don't know. Anyways, he said, he mentioned that one of the preferred sites of the ritual is in Hanazuka itself.
I thought it was
Where?
outside Hanazuka.
He mentioned that it was inside of the...
That is a correction. Sorry. I would clarify. Sunavir would say the ritual sites for stopping corruption is in the Hanazuka. The one, if it's just for the storm, would be done underneath. Not quite.
But it's in that
it's
area.
It's like below that same ritual spot, but it's in that cave. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kyle will be like, sorry, I think I misheard
yeah,
it.
my
but-
bad.
And then he'll explain what Mike just explained.
But he was, yeah. The intention behind it was him just saying like, if there was more information wanted on that original one, That seems to be on his mind. And you'd probably get that with that connection, just trying to understand why it failed in the first place.
We get the stones, stop the storm. It can open up more options for us.
I think it's a good first path forward. But I want us... I mean... Yeah. Let's get the stone first, then we can see where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good first step as far as what we have.
Yeah, stone first, definitely. I think all of us understand the implications of dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
But Zach, maybe keep an open mind about going to Hanasuka before the ritual if we get done early. I wouldn't want your family, especially if there's a chance that they're alive, to suffer more than they have to.
So I don't think we should go.
You can think that, but can you also consider the other thing? We don't have to argue about it now. Just think about it.
I just thought about it. I still don't think we should go.
No, you should think about it a little more than 2 seconds, Zach.
Zachary,
I get.
with you having to unburden yourself with your friend, does Zachary feel like he trusts the other three?
Oh yeah, the whole time he's been trusting them. So.
Give me an affinity check.
Ugh.
With advantage.
Roll the nat one, so.
I was about to say you can do it with advantage. So sure.
Okay.
Watch, this is when his nat ones, his double nat ones.
Double nat ones, come on.
Did it happen?
That's a 23 this time.
Oh. Not that I'm disappointed, but I was like hoping.
No, please don't root for double nat ones
double
on an
nat
advantage
one.
roll, please.
Me and Paul both had it. You two have to have double nat ones at some point on advantage.
No, I had the 4 nat 20s in a row. That's what I got.
Ahuranji. Your friends helped you in Fusuaga. Do you trust the other Chosens?
Yes.
Give me an affinity check.
$22.
Meika.
You get advantage.
That's right. Yeah, all of you guys with advantage. On this one.
Oh, do I get
I'm gonna
advantage?
feel like it's.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not just the.
I'm gonna feel
one.
guilty.
Yeah, no.
We both roll.
I'll get to you in a second, Meika.
Okay.
What'd you roll? Anything higher? Kahu?
Oh, no, I rolled a 22.
Meikai. You have been... You have trusted someone, let them into your life, and they betrayed you. And you have been ousted from your home. You found someone new to love. But do you trust the other Chosens?
Yeah.
Who do you love more? Us or
Yo, you gotta pick one! Yeah, give me a roll, an affinity check with advantage.
I mean, he got me out of
Yeah. Give us the rock. 22.
Nice. You've grown up. Family that's been ripped from you. And on a path for revenge. Found allies. Family that you weren't expecting. Do you trust the other Chosen?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to
Say
say no
no.
and be like, okay. Give me a roll with advantage. Affinity check.
Oh, I got a nat one too on the first one.
Jeez.
You get the double in that once, right?
I got 20 in the second one.
I'll start for that
Whoa!
The full swing.
Oh, ah.
As you
Actually,
guys-
it's never happened before. That was really fun. Wait, I have to give you the number. 24, 25, 28.
28, dang.
Oh, dang.
Wow. Okay. With all of you, you've trusted each other up to now, but all of you now also single-mindedly and in this moment opening up a bit as well. You feel that connection continue to grow and that bond continue to grow. You feel all four of yourselves communing the Ancient One. And that's where we'll take a break. And we'll come back after a break to see what that means and what's going to happen. So thank you guys so much for joining us for Fates United. We'll go ahead and take a quick break so everyone can get up and shake around a little bit and go to the bathroom and stuff. So we'll come back to some more RP and maybe some more lore after the break and see what happens. So come back, you know what? We're back. Welcome back, everybody! We are back from break. Thank you guys for joining with us for episode 62, One Last Stone. Our Chosens are sitting upon the deck, normally frozen and cold in the wind here above the clouds and above the north pole of Organia. But Zachary has gotten in touch with Solus, and Solus still trying to show her support and that she has not left. Has also allowed him to warm up this area with his focus. Chosens checked in with each other, and their strength and unity continue to grow. As answers are still abound, you all feel normally just one. Something deeper rooted into the world around you. Anything you connect with that you feel, the arcane, the magic, the people, anything of this world. This is like a source. And it's old. And weaved into everything around you. But you feel suddenly together that moment, the four of you, it's almost like you're being watched. Like you feel that vision come upon you in a warmth and you feel a very proud emotion wash over all of you. But you also each get the feeling this is a chance to commune and ask questions. Mechanically speaking, you are communing with the Ancient One. So, Zachary, you can give me an Arcana check.
Ah, 19.
You understand from your different magics and messages and scrying and things like this. This is kind of unraveling in that awareness that something, whether it's distance, whether it's power, whether it's just some sort of arcane wall between you and this source, that it's a limited communication. You guys have 3 questions.
So I think we get 3 questions. The ancient.
Oh,
And I was like looking around.
yeah.
And you all feel it the same. It's not just Zachary that feels it, but all of you.
I know, it's more just like looking around. I'm like,
Still, yeah,
whoa,
like, what, where?
what
Yeah.
is it? Yeah.
There's 3 questions and 4 of us.
So if you're going like, not fair. Yeah.
I don't have to ask a question. I'm
5
okay.
of us.
Hey, what do we want to ask about?
You hear the response to Kahu's, and there's 4 of us? A question mark? Yes. No, I'm just kidding. That's it. Yes, there are 4 of you.
So we
That is
can.
correct.
Yeah.
Wait, did we start the questions already?
Yes.
That's a
2.
second question. Yeah.
No, there is
Can I
clear
have-
intention as well. in all this.
Okay. Oh. I don't have any questions. I'm bad at being put on the spot.
Okay, bye.
I mean, I want to know about corruption.
Ask it.
I have a potential question to ask, but ask your questions first. They might be more important.
You guys definitely feel like you guys can talk about them first before you make the official question.
Yeah, should we like say all the options and then pick which ones we think are
I
the
think
most
that
important?
would be good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Okay.
about it first. Before anybody just starts thinking about giant marshmallow men or
Do
something
you
like
like
that. and
pocket
prepping that.
cookies? Don't cross the streams.
Yeah,
I got your reference, Mark.
It was good. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Good.
So part of me wants to think about the origin of corruption.
Mm.
Was corruption created? I think could be a good question. Because if it's not, then it's. But
Something different.
Well, is it, or maybe we could ask, is it possible to wield it safely? Because Sundavir thinks that that's possible. And maybe it is, but wouldn't the Ancient One know if it's true or not? Or if he's deluding himself?
I mean, I already believe that, but
I was
You do?
potentially going to ask if thought that I had was if Sundavir's solution to save the Star Chosen would work or not.
That's actually a good question because,
like the ritual.
yeah, like the one he's
Yeah.
planning. I think that one actually might be
That's-
important enough to go on there.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Are you writing this down, Mark, or should I?
I haven't written anything down, but I can.
Can you, Mr. Note
Grab
Taker?
a piece of paper.
There's a new
So-
Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
See, this is we need Zach to have a Sheikah slate because he can actually
Mm.
like pull up a spreadsheet on his Sheikah slate.
Have you looked at
Perfect.
Encode Thoughts? I saw that again. I was like, oh, this is so cool.
yeah,
you
that
can
was
physically
neat.
bring that up too as like a projector. Sort
Where's
of thing.
that from?
I don't know if it's a newer one or not,
Um,
but I thought it was an older one.
Yeah.
I have to look it up.
Hmm.
But I know they used it in EXU as well. It's like a more advanced version of it.
I mean, we could use a question too to find out more about the nature of the Ancient One as well.
Like who he is? Wait, did you say Mike gets a yes or no question, or
Yes
like
or
he'll
no.
give us?
There is
Oh.
a caveat of if yes or no is still unclear, I can give a short phrase. So it'll still be yes or no, but I can give you a somewhat elaborate intention behind it, sort of explain.
So, like, would that be something like if we asked if the Ancient One and corruption are kind of equivalents? Would that be something that is elaborated on, or just a yes/no type thing?
You could find out.
Okay, so I think that could be a question right there.
What do you mean?
Are-
Like,
Is the Ancient One equivalent to corruption? Like, are they on the same level, or is there a difference there?
like a power distinction?
Yeah, I mean, is
Opposite
corruption
sides.
stronger? Is it like there's a split in two things?
Are you trying to identify whether he made corruption or if it's something that was already there always?
Yeah, because if he created corruption, then he'd be over it.
Yeah.
But if it's both of these are kind of eternal entities,
Mhm.
or
Okay.
equal entities, if the Ancient One was created by something else,
Okay.
And what was Kahu's question?
Is Sundavir's idea for how to save the Star Chosen viable?
Ah,
And we,
I'm writing these down.
instead of viable, we can just say, will it work?
Doesn't viable mean
Viable could
Yeah.
mean
Or
that
so
it
it's-
could work, but will it work is a little bit more pointed.
oh, so like to
Question.
specify a little more?
Like, yeah, it could work, but there's a lot of factors at play. Whereas a will, you maybe depose a little more of a foresight. At least
Better
in my
reminds me of
interpretation
Can
of
I?
it, yeah.
certainly
Right.
hope the Ancient One isn't trying to be tricky with their answers on us.
No, but yeah, you do not feel a wish spell sort of trickery here at all.
Sorry, I've asked too many questions of Faye back in my other games.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you have to word it so carefully.
Yeah. How do you know if
Oh.
the ancient one's Fae or not?
My first thought of a question is the Ancient One equal to or greater than corruption in power?
One of these.
Okay. Wait, are
Do you
you
think
asking
that's-
that now? We didn't talk about it?
No, I'm asking you guys all right now
Oh,
if
yeah.
that's something
Yes.
we are cool with starting the questions off with.
Yeah.
So that question would either be a yes tells us that he is equal to or greater.
And if it's a no,
Do we want to ask if corruption is equal to or greater than him?
Or
we
would
could
it
ask
be
either
eas-
way, I think. But
Or would it be easier to ask, did he create? Or
Is it a byproduct of
does
him?
corruption have a creator, I guess? Could be one way to phrase it as well.
I feel like the way we're having it, if it's equal to or greater, though, it kind of answers multiple levels. Where I think a creator would require two answers to get kind of more information.
True.
Is it as
Yes.
is corruption as eternal as him?
So is corruption equal to or greater in power compared to him?
We could ask that, yeah. The other thing I was wondering, if you're talking about the affinities being weak, is there weakened, like they only give it to one? Is there any thing we need to ask like that? To give more insight on that?
If
Or is there
given
anything about
power?
Well, weren't you saying that the affinities don't seem to do much?
Yeah, I mean, we could. I just feel like that could be a
Would it,
end of the line question if you have nothing else to ask.
I'm just throwing out all my ideas right now.
I think it's good ideas. And we could even ask things like, do you know why you failed the ritual?
Sorry, Dee's face right now is just like, boo.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to follow you guys. This is 100% going over my head. I keep thinking of which sign is greater and not, and then I'm getting stabbed.
All distracted about that?
Yeah. Also, John can attest, I am historically terrible with asking questions in real life and in game. It never translates to my characters. I will never play a character that questions things. I cannot pull it off.
You'd be the nicest inquisitor in the world.
My intelligence is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Are you alright if I ask that first question, though?
Please,
Is
yes.
corruption equal or greater than the Ancient One in power?
I mean, I guess if you think that's the most important.
This is
I was gonna say all the other things, but I guess we could just do that first.
Mhm.
So share all your other things.
Well, does him being distant have anything, do we need to ask about him being so distant? Do we need to ask anything about darkness? Maybe he knows something about darkness or the light chosen?
yeah. I
Or
mean,
not the light chosen, but the light affinity.
I think some information about why creating the affinities and him removing himself seem to be the right choice, but I don't know how to ask that.
Yeah.
Can we talk to him directly?
Does he have a manager?
I mean, we could ask that. Can we somehow talk to you directly, but
Is there a way to do
Like-
that?
greater than just this commune spell? That could be
Mhm.
one, but it doesn't give us details either about how to do it.
Does Sindavir
Yeah.
know a way to talk to you directly?
Well, then that just limits it to Sundavir
Yeah,
and not to anything else.
it doesn't know if it's possible even.
Does anybody we know how to talk to you directly?
Does anyone in this world know how to talk to you directly?
I think it's quite broad there, though.
Well, that
I
we
mean-
know they exist, though.
If we find out there's a way in the world to do it, though,
Then we know what to
we could find it.
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to know if anybody knows it. But
So, I don't know. There's just a lot of different things that maybe only he would know. Those are all the ones I could think of at any rate.
didn't those Genasi say they talked to the Ancient One?
I think so.
So apparently there's
yeah,
a way to do it.
Make I
I
said
should have
that.
talked. Yeah, Scarius contacted me earlier today.
Oh, okay.
They might be able to help us with the ritual potentially too.
Yeah.
Or something.
He was offended that we didn't contact him. I don't have a way to do that.
Now I do.
So maybe the talking thing seems like it's already a yes that we know of.
Yeah, I mean, we could always ask those four.
They
Yeah.
might already be a lead on that question.
Yeah.
They're
We can
special.
skip that one because they probably would know more.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think your first question you wanted to do is fine. I think we should ask if he thinks that the ritual that Sundavir's setting up is good. I think we better know sooner rather than later if it's gonna be a waste of time or not. Especially if you were scared, Zach, about this being the wrong thing to do.
Is it worth us asking if the final stone is in Tritania?
I mean, if you're afraid of it, Zach, I don't know.
I mean, I think we're going there anyways, whether they're going to find out or not. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to waste a question on that.
what about Zach's family still alive?
Or could we get into Hanasuka and out before the ritual? Then we know.
Another one that's just a can we, though. It doesn't mean we will. So,
We know if it's at least worth a risk versus not at all.
we don't know anything about risk. I don't think that's a good question.
I mean, I
Risky
think it's an okay question, Zach. You don't have to tell me it's a bad one.
Weak question. Do better.
You just hear in your head from Kaio. I thought it was a good question.
I think it is too.
Maybe we could ask something about the Drogos or Astari.
Yeah, that's what I said already. That was a good question, wasn't it?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's just, what is the question, though?
That's the question.
Well, okay. Kahu thinks, or Kahu, you said you saw Drogos in the dream realm. So we could maybe confirm that.
Mekai, in this
If you
connection
think
with
that's
the ancient one, you
important.
just hear like the equivalent of like just a pat on your back. Like, it's okay.
Is it worth us to ask the question if I can bring you all into the dream world?
To get Drogos?
So we can all search together.
Yeah.
You've done that before, though.
Yeah, you've already brought others in, though.
Or does the affinity, or the ancient one know where the light affinity even is? Because not even any of the affinities know, right? So maybe he knows.
Can we spread the power of the affinities?
We could ask a question about
Yeah.
this potential other Sundavir, too.
True. Is there like another side of him operating?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that would be a pretty good question.
A darker shadow in the darkness.
Like, that would be something if the answer was confirmed, then
Can we get Sundavir to confront himself?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
like, I mean,
Mekai,
you can't-
is making me break because she's just, I feel like she really wants to be involved, so she's giving like narrative comments now. The darkest shadow in the shadow.
Like the three of us are so serious, like trying to figure this out.
So fun. Sorry. Broke me there.
I just realized that I think Meikai is the Karis of the group.
Oh my gosh, it's
just
so good.
saying like
The hype,
weird
yeah.
crap.
She does it along with the accent.
Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting, guys.
I agree, Mistress. I think we need a spreadsheet.
Whew.
We need a spreadsheet, and we need a ranking system.
Yes.
So,
you guys
do you
have
guys
some
just
good
want to
questions,
ask the first two questions, and then after answers, potentially ask a
They might
third one
change.
that might
Yeah.
be altered by those answers?
Yes. I think
You
that's
good
a
with
good
that,
idea.
everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Holding
first
it.
question. What? You holding me?
I was gonna say we let Zach ask the question specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So turn to like. Is there anything we can focus on? Or is it just like emptiness?
It's just all like everything all around you. Just the entirety of creation and what you are and what the source of your magic is this.
Everything all around you all at once.
Yep. Everywhere, everything. But you just
So
tap
yeah, I'll
into
just
it.
look out and ask: is corruption equal to or greater than you, the Ancient One?
This is one of those where I feel the yes becomes slightly misleading. So you feel a bright and a warmth radiate from your crystal in a affirmative. But in your minds, it's almost just an understanding of two beings that are equal in power, but one tapping into something else, something that was already here. It's tapping into more power. You feel that even with identify of your question, that when you say corruption, that's the power being absorbed, not the other being. Even though you might, in layman's terms and what you guys are dealing with in every day, call this being corruption.
So there's a being that is equal to the Ancient One, but it's tapping into corruption.
Correct.
Okay.
That is the clarificating just knowledge that is imbued on you when you get the yes. Because I feel like a yes was also misleading.
Okay.
There's definitely intent that is being relayed to you through this communication.
Number 2. Will us following the ritual that Sundavir is giving us work in stopping the storm from continuing on?
All of you can feel that chill and wind pick up a little bit. Specifically the Lotha wind around you, and it slightly resembles a storm gale for a second. Again, you get a yes, but there's also a insight of there will be something else you have to tackle for it to work. So yes, the ritual is on the right way and it should be working, but there is something at play that feels like that you guys will have to overcome.
Like it's part of that ritual or separate? Do we get a sense of that?
Unclear.
Okay.
I'll give you that follow-up for that, but yeah, that's unclear. That's not the third question. That's 2B.
I just was asking if I felt anything.
Yeah, for sure,
either
for
way.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we're on to 2C now.
All right, yeah. So 2C.
Yeah, how far can we stretch these out?
Yeah.
You
Try to get
know-
12 questions out of these 3.
You know, if you go to 0 to 1 and you just use decimal points, you'll get to infinity.
True. Bro,
What?
comedian. Wait, 999999999 question.
So anything else you guys thinking about for our third question?
I find it interesting. Does it feel weird that corruption, that feeling about corruption you asked regarding that being something other than just the Ancient One, that corruption is a separate thing altogether?
I mean, we could ask if it's...
It's something
Yeah.
here, but there's another power that's using it.
Wait, what?
The corruption is something that is being
It's being used.
used by something else.
Like, part of me wonders if it's Varys. Or if it's someone else, like... So, I mean, we could ask... Put another, like, so, ideas. We could ask, is it Varys? We could ask, is it here in this world? We could ask, is it where you are? If we want to know about that.
I mean, do we know where he is, though? Or they are, I should say.
We could also still ask about the light affinity, because we don't know about that either. I don't know which one's more important.
Could ask a question if you could have more questions.
No.
Bye.
Nick, can we have? What?
Just trying to think of what we could ask to maximize info we get.
Well,
I'm gonna
I
give
think
you
we
guys one other chance to glean this because you guys rolled some really good affinity checks. Everyone, give me insight roll or Arcana. I'll give you either one, insight or Arcana.
21 insight.
Oh, 6 Arcana.
Nice.
$24 insight.
Oh,
I rolled 12.
Okay.
Kyle's over thinking of his next question.
oh, you're just kind of connected with this overpowering sense of just the fact that the source of this power is with everything. It feels so powerful. The other 3, you connect to that. And yes, this power is immense. But it's within everything. Not as much of a source. Or there's a small source, but the overwhelmingness of the power seems to be within everything and it's spread out. This connection you have feels weak and distant because of a draining power or a not much power left to do much, and that's where you feel this flicker of like just doing this is not easy for him. Does that make sense in that insight?
So he's been drained, as we're getting the sense. The Ancient One's been drained of power.
We're being like blocked out almost.
Drained might not be the best way of it, but being like his power has been given to so many other things and spread out in this
Preston.
world for creation that this source of, because you're able to commune with him, whatever this being is, doesn't have like he doesn't have that same pool of power. It's all within creation.
Are you talking about the evil corruption
So-
one?
The
or
ancient one.
The ancient one.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
almost
okay.
like. Wow, I didn't feel
It's-
it.
It's the ancient one is pouring out, whereas the other one's pulling up to him or her.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Zachary specifically, you almost feel like this is a maybe even a freebie, but an insight into maybe why you think the affinities feel so much weaker. You feel the affinities being part of that pouring out stream, whereas corruption feels like it's pouring in. It's not being shared, it's being absorbed, for one. Sorry, I just realized how much that related to My Hero Academia. Unintentionally.
Mhm.
So you do feel the spell remaining for one question, but you feel a strain. You will even be able to do this.
It's just quiet.
I mean, only
Yeah,
Mark realizes, right? I'm like waiting for him to say
No, all
something.
three of you guys catch on.
No.
To this.
Yeah, you guys.
Oh,
three.
sorry. I thought only Mark got it. I think
No,
The only one that
three.
didn't.
No.
The only one that
No, I
didn't
was
get
saying
is Kaho.
specifically for Zachary, this might
Oh.
answer that question of his, and it seems like that might be what's kind of a lot of what's sparking this interaction in the
Mhm.
first place.
Mm.
Is that questioning of why the affinities are so much weaker? But all three of you are catching on to this insight in Arcana.
Oh, okay.
Kaho's maybe
Gotcha.
the only one that's. He's not catching on to the fact that there's a strain of power, but that this immensity of the ancient one, because it in itself relates to every other magical source in creation here. But you guys are able to pick up on this somehow power stream or transfer of power and its discrepancies.
Okay.
So if anybody else got a sense that the powers are being strained, I don't really know what that means, to be honest. I am very sorry. I'm very bad at
I'm
this.
so imagining this anime scene of Meikai and just a strainer of like a spaghetti like strainer, like it's being strained. That's all I got.
Noodles.
She can only think in noodle analogies. That's it.
My curse.
This might be my favorite thing all night. Is
It is my gift. It is my curse.
oh man, so good.
Are you saying it's
Mhm.
like the affinities can't do much because they're giving everything they have? And so is the ancient one, but this other thing is not.
But you get a flash in your mind through that question through Lotha as well of like rainwater that falls in a like a pool at the top of a mountain. Its water then flows into a river and then into another pool and into another river until the end of it. It's still the same water, but it's split, divided.
Yeah.
Do you think that those who use corruption are actually losing power themselves?
They might.
Or maybe.
Or taking it for whatever this
Siphoning.
is. Yeah.
So there's
What are you talking about, siphoning?
Power. Whatever this is.
What
Not magic.
are you talking about siphoning? I'm
ancient
just
one.
talking about the fact that corruption. We got that feeling that one's tapping into an additional ability. I don't know what you're talking about with the siphoning.
Ancient one is pouring out his power to creation, but something else is pulling up corruption.
And taking it for themselves, like absorbing it.
Well,
So-
so we got that feeling before then that a different being was tapping corruption for more power.
Yeah. So
And you're telling me that somebody was. That the Ancient One seems to be pouring out power.
Mm-hmm.
So one's becoming weaker as the other grows stronger.
Yeah.
Potentially.
So is corruption just the term to like of the movement of this power? Is it because it's like the stealing of others' power instead of the giving?
So, I think I mentioned this recently to all of you, but like the first two affinities that were created were light and dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there was
Right.
jealousy between them. They were like issues with the two of them. And then the other six were created.
Why? Did you know why?
Because the Dean's journal had that in there. I think I told you this.
I don't like. Do you know why they were jealous of each other? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know why.
How crazy would it be if jealousy was actually literal, though? It was like jealousy was like another
And that's a corruption.
entity? Like up between
What?
the two? I was just saying, like, it's probably completely wrong. I'm just saying it would be interesting.
All he's just
Like,
saying is,
I'm sitting here and I'm talking in circles trying to come with a connection and a question.
Is
You know
jealousy a
what
person?
yeah, her name. Never mind.
Exactly. I'm just saying, could you imagine if we're like trying to figure this out, like why were they jealous of each other? And really the whole time it was, nope, jealousy was created by corruption at the same time Light and Dark was made, and managed to split the two.
Zachary,
You'd
you,
feel
you
pretty
make
dumb.
a quick look back in the notebook and you see jealousy with a lower J, not a higher J. So,
Yeah, it's just a regular J. Not name.
Anyway, you had a thought. Sorry, Zach.
really
From
like that
there-
thought process, though.
The other 6 affinities were created afterwards because the Ancient One did want to see all power in one, like it would happen with light and dark. But it was after that when darkness, something happened and corrupted monsters started showing up.
Did we ask if the Dean and Soonavir need to be at the ritual?
Could be a good question.
Like, do we need all of the affinities at this ritual for it to be successful?
What if we asked?
Didn't Sundavir answer that?
I thought I said yeah, we had to be there, but
Yeah, I think they said they all had to be there.
There's like good luck trying to get the dean.
That's right.
Yeah, I think the point was saying that that the original ritual needed all 8 affinities in there to do something like this. He's worried if 6 is going to be enough.
Mhm.
what if we asked a question?
Mark's brain is like, I can see steam, like there's smoke coming out of his ears, like.
I want the most efficient question. Yeah, I love it. I love that you guys are.
It's not often, Mark, that you sit there in silence for so long.
Thank you.
Think that-
Y'all keep talking and I'm taking headphones off.
You just mute us.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Don't want the stream to get too quiet.
I'm all here for this. I think this is both important and fun.
It is really fun.
But I think helping you guys get a very maybe better framework on things help.
I'm wanting to try to ask a question to try to pinpoint what is taking the power, corruption from the world. Or
Zach,
feeding on that.
I
It's
mean,
like the
I know we're still brainstorming questions here. Who are those people that the people that go, the Inquisitors?
Yes.
They have like ancient items of some kind, artifacts.
Yeah, they collect them.
Right. We've seen what a couple of those artifacts do we not? Have we seen the effects of any of those artifacts?
We've seen the artifacts from the Inquisitors.
Or do
I
we
don't feel like we
know-
have.
I
Yeah.
don't think we have.
I take that back. The only things that you might think about or could possibly be Rydurius' sword.
Because don't those artifacts supposedly give them abilities similar to the Chosen's? Which is why they are collecting them to keep them out of people's hands.
Is that what the king had to protect the chosen?
Yeah, Zach, you have a lot closer insight into this. Give me an intelligence check or Arcana check. Or history.
That's why I was
There's a lot
asking
of
Zach.
different ways of doing this, yeah.
Or what?
I will allow all three because I think they're all three relevant in here.
What was the third one you said?
Arcana, religion, or history.
Which one's best? That would be, say, 15.
15. Yeah, you assume there's a chance that some of their weapons and maybe an item on each one of them is some sort of artifact, but it seems like between their talking that they speak of protecting and vaulting like even more powerful artifacts, but you have not seen anything similar. Not sure how your weapons cater into that equation or not either, because any history and research into the Chosens, any of their artifacts, not something you've come across.
I mean, I'm posing this question, or I'm posing these thoughts at the moment, though, because I'm thinking you guys are talking about some siphoning of power. If power's getting siphoned, it has to go somewhere. Has
It's
to
to
end up
the
somewhere.
being, right? I mean, isn't it to the being?
That's
whatever
the
it is.
assumption, unless the being is
That was
has
a
his
very
own
clear
plans.
that was a very clear intention you guys got. Yes.
It is to this person or whoever it is.
It
Yeah.
was not clear whether it was a person or a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Just something.
then it at least brings up the potential topic, though, that somebody else can also siphon power.
What?
Well, Soondavir does siphon some power, right?
Yeah.
Because he used it for his corruption abilities. He's trying to, at least.
Mhm.
It's maybe to a lesser degree, but he does have similar ability, it seems, to what's being described here.
Give me another Arcana check on that one.
18.
Similar in ways, but when you think about it, it's more wielding a power that's already there versus siphoning something from something else. You feel like Soondavir's, and he's kind of slightly tapped on this, but your interactions with him, it's almost like he's wielding a power that's in this world already, but it's just trying to control it and yield it. Whereas what you're getting here is different.
So the corruption initially that's being siphoned, is that from a separate place than what we're talking about on Earth, or is it?
What you none of that was in that question, and none of that was been able to be ascertained from that intent of the first glimpse of what you got, or the insight. You do feel, though, it's less of this other being wielding this, but maybe being absorbed and empowered by it, if that makes more sense. I know
So
it
it's like their power?
maybe becoming their power.
Okay. But they're still siphoning it from something.
Yeah.
Just the sense we got.
It seems
Okay.
like, yeah. You're not sure. Yeah, with that question, it wasn't any insight into like the nature of what this corruption is,
I
and
mean,
whether this corruption is just in this world or outside of this world. It's
yeah, I guess all I'm really trying to come to right now, because what you guys are talking about, I don't know if it helps us come to a question. It just seems like if you have a lake and a river, the river empties somewhere. So if you follow the river, you'll eventually find another lake or ocean.
What is the analogy supposed to equate to?
You're asking about who has the power?
Energy, if it's being moved from one place to another, if it's like a river at all, then perhaps it's following from one basin into a different one.
So we'd find whoever it is if we follow corruption.
Or are you alluding to Varus or something?
If you follow the river, I'm just saying, if you follow the river, is there a way that we can follow this thing you guys are talking about with the siphoning? If you follow the river, you'll find the ocean, eventually.
Well, that's kind of what I think what was one of the ideas, right, is where is this thing? You know, is it here? Or is it where the ancient one is? Because isn't he somewhere else?
Talking about the source of where the corruption is?
I guess.
So it's two different sides now we're asking from. Like,
You're right.
Which way?
Yeah.
Which way are things flowing?
Oh, I see.
because it sounds like there's source of this power flowing to this other person.
Oh, I guess I thought it was the same thing, but you're right. I guess they're taking it from somewhere. Right? That's what you're saying, Kagu?
Some sort of power.
But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
And that power
okay.
that this wielder has is in the world, and that's what Sundavir is wielding. If I'm understanding this correctly.
You've seen multiple examples of people wielding corruption powers.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
Okay.
And what
So-
and this might help clarify some things too. You guys know, based on what you've uncovered, that whatever the first ritual was supposed to have taken whatever this being was and kept it off this realm with the Ancient One. And put it behind this veil of arcane whatever, this mortal veil. Why is corruption still here? It goes into your question.
So the question is, I guess, do we want to ask more about this creature, or do we want to ask about something else? That's the first thing we should come to.
As a
Which
group,
one?
I think that's a good defining
Love seeing you guys work together. This is fun.
drive.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Do we need to? Yeah. So do we feel like we
I'm
need
just
to know
eating-
more about corruption,
Eating pocket cookies.
or do we need to ask about another thing we don't know about, which is more important?
I don't think we're ever going to land on the perfect question. We'll probably always think.
I think we're lucky this
better.
just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just lucky to be here.
I think understanding that there's potentially a power draw alone is a lot more information than we've had before.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the only other thing I feel like might contest another question in the importance would be something about light, since we don't know anything about that and no one seems to know anything about that. The other stuff we've been able to figure out from other things, but if not even the affinities know about light, then maybe he knows something.
Hmm. Is light hanging out with him? Like, did it return to him?
Yeah, or even does he know where light is? Like,
Or
Or
will
does
you
even
guide us?
he not know?
Will you guide us to light?
I feel like we have to really think about the light infinity because lead us to light just sounds like what he tries to do. Don't listen to me.
No, it's actually, I think it's a very
Well,
good point. Everything you've done up to
That's
now
a
could
very good
potentially
point to
be
make,
leading
guy.
towards the light.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I don't.
No, that's a
I don't
very
know
great
if he has
point.
the power to. I don't know if he has the power to actually lead us to light. I mean, if he can only do this. Like, do you know where light is? Do you know? Is light in the dream realm as well? Is light corrupted? All those things could potentially.
Are we
Answer.
able to talk with light? Like commune with him too, or her, or them, or whatever?
Zach, are you thinking something? You've been really quiet and just staring at the floor.
Do you want some peace and quiet so that you can think for a little bit?
No,
I'm
it's
just talking
okay.
about spitballing ideas.
This is a commune style commune.
Hmm.
Make I have any pocket cookies while we're sitting here thinking?
Yes, actually.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank you
From
so
car.
much.
Mhm.
Zach, what is like the thought of your thoughts? The start of them, because I don't even know what you're thinking about at all.
This window.
Part of me just wants to ask the question of this other entity that is taking this power, wielding corruption as like this rival to the Ancient One. Have we seen or met him or her or it? And just know if
If we
it's
have.
something completely foreign to us or if it's something that we are aware of.
I mean, I feel like I felt something in the dreams.
Mhm.
And we did meet Varys, so that would cover that, if it's a Varys.
I think all four of you have felt that little pole in darkness thing happen. Or this weird
If it's in the dream
shackled-
realm, then yes.
Yeah.
I think it was the dream thing.
Mhm.
I guess the actual being, I think, is the question.
Sorry.
Would be the question, though. So
So it's more of the thought of like, is that entity here versus the dream, or do we want like how do we want to ask that if it is a
Yeah.
question we want to ask?
You think Carr might remember about that being? You remember I lost connection with Makai.
Yeah.
Carr brought her back. But it was as though he was part of something else.
Trapped. Would Carr have told me about any of that, his experiences? I know we haven't really talked about that, but
Would you have
that was something I
asked
was going to
him-
ask you outside of game.
Would you have asked
Yeah.
him what happened to him and what he saw?
I would have,
Okay.
but
That's
yeah.
fair. Yeah, I mean, we just haven't repeated it.
We can talk about that later.
okay.
Yeah.
You've also, I'll say this, you've probably seen him like sweating from nightmares when he sleeps.
Mhm.
He has spoken of nightmares of being shackled and chained to a pillar in a world of fire and brimstone. Corruption.
Say that to everyone.
I mean,
But to him, it's just a
isn't
nightmare.
Isn't
Mhm.
there that other world that we went to? Is it there? The one where
Where
they
did-
kept the lightest memory. Me and
Varys?
Tahu went.
The one where Varys took you?
Yeah.
Answer to.
Does that sound familiar with what Makai described and what we've seen?
Potentially similar. So, what you saw seemed more controlled.
Smaller scale.
Potentially. Again, it's your knowledge and exposure to both of these things is very limited.
Right.
So it's a potential. Unclear.
I will be honest though, my brain's starting to melt a little bit now too. So can we
Do you-
decide on a question?
do you think a
quickly?
question-
Yeah, just ask,
I
honestly.
would-
Yeah.
Well,
I've been gone this whole time.
okay, well, I was just wanting to pose one more thing. Maybe it's you completely ignore it. Does corruption claim the dead?
Like all the dead?
All things die.
Well,
Well,
we
get siphoned one way.
do know that already. Though,
I don't think
because-
everybody, though. Because we've sensed that with some people who are dead, but not all of them.
I was gonna
So
say,
then-
especially in Vanilla, you felt a difference between them.
Yeah,
So then
we
is it only claimed by those who walk through those portals?
It's basically, I think, whoever gets touched by corruption. Because
Right.
like when the elves,
So I guess what I'm trying to come at here is the person who killed Carr, the people looking for Zach's family, the spider lady, Carr's brother summoning from the stone. All of these things connected to corruption, were they not?
yeah, that's
Or
what you're saying.
do we know that they are, for sure?
Yeah,
You don't know
they
anything
are,
about
because
Zachary's family.
But we do know that the lady that was kidnapping Zachary's family sent one of those students to a very bad place when they died.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the other
First.
person who was with them, though, that did that. It's connected, but
Connected, but
it was the
seem-
Black Viper lady who killed the student and did that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, right. I forgot that the Hanasuka lady was dead
Well,
by
You
the
have
time.
no
I
perhaps
got
not.
there.
clue if the Black Viper has anything to do with Zachary's family or not.
Yeah, but everything else.
Correct.
We know that have been two
Okay.
people who Zach has released a curse from. I bet the other guy was shackled, but he didn't get to come back.
And part of this too is what you guys know. I mean, this is stuff all four of you would be taught in your teachings with the Ancient One, with the world, with religion, is that when people die, they are in the same realm with the Ancient One or the other affinities. So now that you've seen that maybe some things are being stolen by corruption, that's what it feels like is going on. That maybe these things are being entrapped by corruption if they're being killed by corruption.
You got the good line of thought.
Very good.
But yeah, I'm with Ananias.
I'm trying to save you guys from asking a question if you might have
Yeah.
already known.
Like
the
if we already
answer
have
to
the
it.
answer,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
If you don't,
No,
and it's
thanks.
on the wrong thing, or if you want to clarify, then I will totally let you. I hate when we accidentally forget. Like I would forget something and be like, oh, I totally knew that. That sucks.
Anyways, go ahead, Zach. I'm just very contemplating on this right now.
You don't have. There's no dumb
Oh.
questions from
I
any
just-
of you.
feel like we keep circling back towards who is wielding this power. We've talked about the Inquisitors too. We've had questions about this other plane of existence that Varys has access to. I feel like there's a question there that we should ask and just get an answer to with some understanding about the situation with Varys, with this other world, with corruption.
Is Varys affiliated with this creature?
Is my dream world the corruption world?
That didn't seem the same though, did it?
I mean, the way
Or
Carl
are you
described
worried it
his
is?
thing
Maybe not, but I'm thinking particularly when I stepped through the gate at the dwarfs.
Give me affinity check, or I'm gonna say affinity check as you're trying to make these connections to when you jumped to that dream world.
19?
You feel like they're separate. This is your dream. Your spirit walking might be channels or streams to get to other realms potentially, but you do feel like where you were when you were doing the dwarven thing and where you were in New Organia when you actually went to that prison feel separate. One might be a way for you to, kind of like project yourself and then maybe go somewhere, was if you learn how to do that, maybe, but they feel different.
I think maybe what you can ask is corruption linked to Bardicdice or the portal people or whoever else we were thinking about? Just like ask, is it any of these people? And that's a yes or no. And if it's a yes, then we know it's one of them. And if it's a no, then it's something else.
It brings me back to that question of this wielder of this power. Have we seen or met them?
Yeah.
And then it gives us some information.
The goblin in the volcano.
Maybe Varys is just like, this thing's chosen, and it's not him, or maybe it is him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But this would give us information of if it is him or not, or anybody we met or not.
Mm-hmm.
With your intelligence, you could, I'm just saying, you feel like you probably could combine that. Have we met this being and anyone that serves it in person? Because if you think Varys is this being, that would be someone you met in person, right?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a good way to go.
You good with that?
I think that's as good of a question as we've come up with thus far.
Okay. Yeah, we probably don't want to keep this open forever if it's draining all its power, so.
The world just
Wait, it's been draining its power this whole time?
Don't worry, I put you on hold an hour ago. I've been watching my
His
teams.
battery's slowly draining.
I know I live in a desert. I just turned my hose on for the last week. I'm sorry.
We're in a drought.
So, you good with that question, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's ask.
Third question. Have we met this opposing being to you, the Ancient One, or any who directly serve that being?
You get back as the swirl of your affinity powers come around you. The glow of moonlight and sun and wind, water. You also get a small pang of psychic pull as just thinking about this being. You get an affirmative, but not of the being. That is clarified. You get flashes and images and that growl that you guys have heard in the dream, and of shadows and chains. And then it's almost like as it's feeding upon this feeling you get is like a galaxy, or almost like, like where like a black hole's feeding upon energy. It's similar in nature to something like this. This being is this void that's pulling in this power that has streams heading back out into your world, just the same as the Ancient One does with the affinities and the affinities to Chosens. And the affirmative is to whether you have met anyone that serves this being.
So it's the service, not the being. Okay.
Correct.
There you go. Perfect.
So this being's not of this world, it's something different.
And to say that, a feeling of connectivity unifies amongst the four of you. And you still feel the Ancient One's power around you, and the source, and the DNA of all that is created around you. And a sense of pride, like a father looking to children. And a bit of understanding and empathy, knowing the pain that you hold. And just like a whisper in the wind, it's gone. Feel the disconnect.
That was weird.
We got questions answered. But yeah.
It was unique.
How much time has passed?
You look around?
Yeah.
Like noon.
That sounds like lunch to me.
Yeah, there's like the first mate. He's just like sitting there. And the captain's now up at the thing. He's like, you guys okay? Trying to get your attention for a while now.
Yeah, we were just in a communion.
Hey, whatever you want to do on the ship, just don't make a mess. And he leaves the drink and gets up. And
Such a weird explanation. We were just in a
Show
communion.
stuff.
No,
he
we
leaves you to
don't.
be. He says, you know what? All right.
Sure.
They're fine. They're doing chosen things. Yells back up to the captain.
Good work.
But this is something important. You guys do realize this interaction with the Ancient One has made time go by. Meaning, like, you were in this for a lot longer than you thought you were. You've woken up 4 to 5 hours later. In what's felt like
has it
half an
been
hour.
2 days?
Has it been 2 days yet? No, it's just noon. Okay. AC Tritana, you've been sitting there for 3 days. Like, so, just making, as a DM, that aware that that's not a descriptor. That is important.
Okay.
Tab that page.
All right.
Dog tag. This will show up on the exam later. So.
Oh no.
Gotta make a flashcard.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I think
That's
that
a
helps us
8x time
later.
difference. Purdue is counting.
What?
That was John, not Kahu speaking.
What the heck is that supposed to mean?
Relative time difference.
No.
That stuff breaks my mind
My
when I
brain's
think
so
about it.
fried from this coffee thing. When you said that, I felt like everything in me just shut down. Like,
Little
what's
smoke
that
blowing
mean?
up. Yeah.
What is
It's impressive, but it makes me sad.
It's
Like her
impressive.
math.
I just don't understand.
Yeah. Hungry.
Yes, let's get some food.
We got questions answered, and that's the important part.
It's more than we've had before.
Do we feel better about all of this? I feel like I do.
I think I'll feel better when I eat some food.
I mean, Zach, how do you feel? Since, we did want to check originally
That was
anyway.
the
Do you
whole
feel
point of this,
okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Insight.
Yeah, Zach, is this you actually being
I dropped
fine,
it, that doesn't
or
count.
are you just saying
Yeah,
that?
this is insight.
Do you trust your other chosens? Not when they say they're fine!
Yep, all of a sudden that trust is broken.
Yeah.
Not a nat 20, but
18.
a 19 plus a 7. 26?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like he's all better or anything, but he's
Right.
fine.
Okay.
Seem pretty-
He's happy. He's not more frustrated. He's thinking, but he's not being there. Oh. Okay. Cool.
He's not actively trying to cover his emotion at that
No.
point.
You guys know all the things he's frustrated with, so he's not hiding anything from you.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna just give like a little squeeze on the shoulder. Do you want me to get you anything for food?
No, I'm good.
All right. Mekai, nice. You want anything for food?
I do. Zach, can I give you a hug?
Something if you want.
Just want to hug me?
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Oh.
You know, if I go big right now, I could probably hook all of you at once. I'll save it for later, but think about it.
Ending of episode
Think about
62,
it.
group hug.
I think I was gonna go off and get some food. He'll get some food, maybe bring it back if people still want to hang out together. And even though Zach said he didn't want anything, he'll get himself enough food that he knows he can eat himself, but it's clearly enough for to share.
So he can share if he wants. Thanks for talking to us, Zach. I'm sorry I'm so awkward.
Okay, I don't know what to say to that, but
I think you're a wonderful person, and I'm glad that you trust us, and that we're all doing this together. And I still want to do everything in my power to help find your family, because I think that's really, really, really important.
thanks, I guess.
Yes. She's looking very proud of her and pleased with herself right now.
Yep. I'm gonna go sit here and think.
Okay. Get food.
And Zach will just like sit at the edge of the ship again, just looking out, thinking.
Is there anything else you guys want to specifically do before we end tonight's game on lunch?
We're just ending during mid-journey? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. I'll open it back up next time if you guys want to do anything else for the next day, or you guys just want to sum it up.
Is there like scaffolding and stuff on the ship?
For what cause?
Like a crow's nest or something.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. I was
Scaffolding?
like, scaffolding.
You mean like a perch?
Yeah, like a high point.
Something like this. There's like a ladder to like a platform. It's not a full crow's nest per se, but it is meant to serve in similarities to one. So yeah, it could be a place you can go and sit up there. It's not as high up as a crow's nest normally would be.
Yeah, but you're also flying through the sky, and so
Yeah, it's very different.
is it a good view of the things around?
Yeah, very much so. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I think at some point Ka would be like, "Hey, nice! I found something really cool," and you'd want to bring her up there to like show off the how far you can see in the air.
Ooh. I would go up there and I would like pull out the horn he got me. Or he made me. Like, I want to actually test this out. This seems like a good spot, right? And I won't traumatize anybody.
I think it's as good a spot as any.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. So I want to try and do it. And you said it charges up or something. I want to see if anything happens.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Before you kind of like held back on it, but now you feel it starting to charge with your cat's eye a bit. Go ahead and activate it.
Boop. I don't know how you activate it.
You blow through it. You feel very similar to when you like do a thunder arrow. You just feel the charge, and it blasts out like a long horn, about 300 feet around, 500 feet maybe. Just this thunderclap. It hits. You feel the ship move for a second as the captain's like looking around like, the heck?
I was like away from the crow's nest. Like, sorry.
What do you see? What's happening?
Oh, nice. His hair is just...
It's in a braid. It's okay.
Are we in danger or are we being attacked?
Oh yeah, Connor was just like...
Are we being attacked? What's going on? Yes, I
Oh,
see
sorry.
you use the horn. What are you trying to say?
We were testing it first time.
Really loud.
That means it's working.
Please warn the captain the next time you decide to test something very loud. But it worked. Thank you. You put
Just give a thumbs up.
the speed back on.
She's like waving, like on, like she's almost like peeking down, like over the crow's nest part, and she just like waves like a sorry wave, like a.
Fine.
Oh, he looks guilty, then he turns around with a big smile on his face. He's like, "Ha, it worked."
Worked better than I thought it was gonna work.
I know, right? Isn't that?
That was way louder. I mean, I think this did that like extra.
I mean, it was all you. I just gave you the tool.
Yeah, well, that's great.
That was
Thanks.
amazing.
And on
Now
that,
people will definitely hear me if I need them to.
and on that, I think that'll be a great place for us to end. On a second time with Anais and Kahus talking. On both games have ended on that, yeah. So, you guys are up in the crow's nest. Zachary, are you staying up front thinking in the front of the ship?
Yeah, I was gonna send a message to somebody, but we can see it next time. If
You just want to hold it to next time?
That's fine if you wanna end here. That's
Go ahead and send it real quick. That way I have time to think about it.
We started late.
Yeah, it's fine.
okay. Yeah, I'll pull out the sending stone and try to connect to the dean again.
Okay.
Hey, I have some questions for you if you are available.
We'll get up next week with the response to whether the dean is answering or not. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll start with that conversation.
Actually, I don't need to use the stone. I can just connect mentally with
Yeah,
him. I'm gonna do that. So
okay, cool.
Oh,
Save
yeah.
the stone, yeah.
mental connection with him. I'm not using
That's a good cliffhanger, though. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't answer last time. See if he answers this time. So we'll leave on
He's
that
here
one.
at Make Guys Engagement. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, he's
It's
got
very
that.
important.
Very important stuff. So perfect. Thank you guys so much. We'll go ahead and wrap up 62. We'll hit 63 on the trip there and see if maybe you guys wrap up and get to Tritania. But it's a nice little chance for you guys to breathe, think, talk, unwind a bit for you guys. As always, we'll go ahead and do a quick raid over to a friend. I found one, Nerd Council, so I think that's who we'll go find. But as well as we'll be back next week for the last player interview for Call of the Netherdeep on Wednesday, so that's exciting. And then in July, join us for the one-shot, for our Rivals one-shot with the Fates crew, where they will get to animate and play the NPCs for you guys, and you guys get to check that out in person. It'll be really fun. And then we'll be back for Fates United next week. And then Sunday, make sure you show up for Beacon's Aura, because no business.
Just dying over here.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting with that. So yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Beacon's Aura, Marquee Gaming. Go check it out. We'll go see our little friendies here at Nerd Council. They look like they're having a RP heavy game, so I thought that'd be a good one to go check. As always, thank you guys so much. You always show your love and respect to us. Let's show our love and respect. Let's send the Bardic Barrage to the Nerd Council. Show them how much we love D&D. We love the TTRPG community. And we'll be back next week for more. Love you guys. Bye.